Johnson in for Maria Shilaos. KSL's top story this hour. The Utah Attorney General is filing charges against a Cache County man accused of sexually assaulting a teenage girl more than 4 years ago. And the AG's office is investigating whether there could be more victims.
The state is accusing Cameron Michael Dolly, who's now 22, of sexually assaulting a 17-year-old girl back in 2021 when he was 18 years old. Prosecutors claim Dolly assaulted the girl at a house party, and he's now facing a felony rape charge. But the Attorney General's office is also investigating accusations made by 3 other women who are claiming they were also raped by Dolly, and they're asking other victims, if there are any, to come forward. KSL legal analyst and Inside Sources host Greg Skordas tells me, based on the ages of the women who've come forward, statute of limitations likely won't be a factor in the investigation.
We have relaxed and in some instances done away altogether with the statute of limitations for sex crimes involving children.
The other 3 alleged assaults happened between 2016 and 2020 when both the girls and Dolly were under the age of 18. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
The first trial for the man accused of leaving the country to avoid rape charges here in Utah is scheduled to start next week. Jury selection continues again today. Nicholas Rossi is accused of committing the multiple rapes back in 2008. He was identified through DNA in 2018, charged in 2020, and was extradited from Scotland back in 2024. Potential jurors will be at the courthouse in Salt Lake City today as the legal teams prepare for opening arguments in Salt Lake County. The ex-husband of Ruby Franke is suing Jody Hildebrandt, accusing her of misrepresenting herself as a mental health professional. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff joins us live with details. Don? Are you there, Don?
Britt, in his lawsuit, Kevin Franke accuses Hildebrandt of representing herself as a psychologist, which she was never professionally trained or licensed as. Kevin says under Hildebrandt's direction, he separated himself from his wife and children as a means of treatment for his diagnosis as, quote, being lustful, narcissistic, manipulative, deceptive, controlling, and selfish. He claims Hildebrandt also told him he was not worthy of a temple recommend from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because of that, he missed an appointment to renew that recommend and lost his job at BYU. Franke is asking for the money he spent on Hildebrandt's treatments, court and attorney's fees, and, quote, further relief as the court may seem just. Reporting live, Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
A man has been arrested after he reportedly tried to light a police vehicle on fire. The Clinton Police Department says Chad Livingston was the one who made the call, telling the dispatcher he was out of lighter fluid. That lighter fluid had been dumped on a Sunset City police car before he lit it on fire. Livingston reportedly told police he did it because he wanted their attention, and he was upset with people using his name. The fire caused more than $1,500 worth of damage. KSL's top national stories. A suspect is now in custody after shooting 5 soldiers at an Army base in Georgia today. Officials at Fort Stewart say they were on lockdown for nearly an hour until they were able to arrest a suspect. More from ABC's Luis Martinez.
I think there is a clue about exactly where this may have happened when you see that press release from the 3rd Infantry Division, which is they keep referring to the 2nd Brigade Combat Team Complex. That to me indicates that this was a headquarters facility associated with the unit. Typically, you were thinking about an office space. So workplace violence, of course, is not limited to the civilian world. We've seen previous instances where this has happened.
The 5 service members were taken to the hospital, but we don't know yet the extent of their injuries. We have the latest on this developing story posted at kslnewsradio.com. And if you always want to get the latest news, go straight to your phone. Be sure to sign up for push alerts through the KSL News Radio app. Other national stories KSL is following this hour. Texas Democratic lawmakers who fled to Illinois to stop a redistricting vote say they're facing threats of violence. In a statement, the lawmakers say anonymous threats were made, but law enforcement took immediate action. ABC's Selena Wang has more.
We're learning from local law enforcement that the hotel where this group of Texas House Democrats were staying, it was temporarily evacuated because of a bomb threat, but we are getting a statement from those Texas House Democrats saying that they are safe, sound, and, quote, undeterred. Now, this does come as there's an effort to try and force that group of Democrats who fled the state to return back to Texas so that they can hold this vote on those new redrawn congressional maps.
Texas Governor Abbott has already threatened to arrest them, and now he's calling on the state Supreme Court to remove the top Democrat, Gene Wu, from his position. A pair of reports on crime in America finds that both violent and nonviolent offenses were lower last year compared to 2023. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
Both the FBI and the Major Cities Chiefs Association have found significant declines in violent offenses, but the trend is not universal. The MCAA report shows Denver, Orlando, Portland, and Tampa each with a 50% drop in homicides in the first 6 months of this year. But Cincinnati, El Paso, and Milwaukee showed increases. Boston, according to the Police Chiefs Association, saw a 143% surge in murders January to June. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
We have First Look traffic. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have a road closure due to police activity in West Jordan. Eastbound 7800 South is closed a block west of Redwood Road at 1800 West. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
Whether you're building your $1 million dream home, giving your current home a facelift, or just trying to get it out of the minor leagues, Peach Windows and Doors brings the big league look.
Modern style, energy efficiency, clean lines, tough builds, and curb appeal that hits like a home run. Not sure what you need? No sweat. Peach has the coaching staff to get your home in the game. No pressure, no gimmicks, just solid game plans and pro-level results to help you knock it out of the park.
Come see for yourself big, beautiful windows that bring the outside in. Visit Peach Windows and Doors showroom, big enough to spark ideas, small enough to feel right at home. It's time to step up your game and make your house the MVP of the neighborhood. Why live in the minor leagues when you can swing like $1 million? Peach Windows and Doors, because real homes play like champions. Visit peachdoorsandwindows.com or call 801-566-1255 for your free consultation.
That's Peach Windows and Doors. Give them a call, 801-566-1255.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Does your job require you to be on your feet all day? Teachers, postal carriers, salespeople, and restaurant staff. Many of us need our feet to get us through the day. Hi, this is Mike with the Good Feet store, and I'd like you to hear from Donna. She's a nurse and a real customer of the Good Feet store who wanted to share her story.
Oh, I have to tell you, I have struggled with pain in my feet. I was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis. With the 3-step program, it really fits to your lifestyle. I work in a hospital. I'm a registered nurse, so being on my feet, walking throughout the hospital during the day, I am free from any type of pain. And after working a 12-hour shift, I go home and my feet do not hurt.
Whether you're a nurse or anyone wanting to enjoy work without your feet getting in the way, come see us at the Good Feet store.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Schedule your free test walk at goodfeet.com.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Ruby Frankie's ex-husband is now suing Jody Hildebrandt, accusing her of misrepresenting herself as a mental health professional when she came into the house of family vloggers. Hildebrandt is already serving time for child abuse. KSL News Time, 12:08. Utah's wildfire season isn't letting up, and doctors are reminding us that breathing in the smoke isn't something that we're just supposed to tough out. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has more.
Whether the smoke is blowing in from out of state or sparked here at home, it's coating Utah skies, and doctors say it's not just irritating, it's dangerous for some. Dr. Korasak with University of Washington Medicine says the biggest concern is for people who can't avoid the smoke.
Pregnant women and their fetuses, or other people with underlying health conditions. We also worry about people who may be more exposed to wildfire smoke.
She says if you're working, hiking, or exercising outside and start wheezing or coughing, go indoors immediately. And if your symptoms don't improve, that's when you should contact your doctor. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
AI cameras are being used to help spot wildfires faster. The program, created by Pano AI, looks for smoke in different mountainous areas and sends notification to fire crews. Wildland Fire Division Chief of the Weber Fire District, Lucas Minton, tells KSL-TV the technology could save lives.
It's become very valuable in both evacuations if necessary, deployment of suppression resources, air assets, all of those items.
The cameras have already helped catch more than 100 fires in the early stages across the western U.S. There are currently 5 cameras in Utah. 2 of them monitor the Ogden Valley. 1 overlooks Powder Mountain, and the other looks at Lewis Peak in Summit County. KSL News Time, 12:09. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking account. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have kind of a quiet drive in progress on the freeways, including I-15 both directions between Ogden and Provo. But we've had some issues on the side streets. Police activity in West Jordan is closing down the eastbound side of 7800 South, just west of Redwood Road at 1800 West. You want to avoid that area. We've also had an accident in Ogden Canyon. This is eastbound SR 39, about 10 miles from the mouth of the canyon. You'll likely see some backups in the area just as you're making your way from the mouth of the canyon towards Wellsville. But if you're traveling there, just be patient. Officers are at the scene. Fill up your bucket list in Box Elder County. History, recreation, and wildlife, and excellent dining and shopping await you. Learn more at visitboxeldercounty.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
We're looking at a hot August afternoon, a high of 99 forecast, mostly sunny skies, and a warm, dry breeze out of the southwest. 98 tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, but even more wind out of the south. We then go to 88 with a dry, cool front on Friday, partly cloudy, but still breezy. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, we're already at 93 degrees in Salt Lake City. Coming up on midday, a lot of pets went missing during the Mill Creek apartment fire that left dozens of people homeless last month. A local organization has been working to find and catch missing cats and reunite them with their owners. We'll talk to them about that. That's coming up next, streaming live at kslnewsradio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. Sponsored by At Your Service Pros. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
There's nothing like getting a quote on a new furnace or an AC and feeling like they are pushing you into something big and expensive. You know, if that's the case, you are not the only one. You need to hear about a great family-owned business called At Your Service Pros. At Your Service Pros is different. They are Utah-based, family-owned, and they pride themselves on trust rather than sales quotas. My air conditioning just went out. Jared came out very quickly. He gave me all of my options. He told me about some great rebates that are actually going to save me thousands of dollars. Right now, on a hybrid system, you can save up to $6,600 in rebates. These rebates expire at the end of the year. At Your Service Pros will give you the best possible price, and they also want to give you the best possible information. Check out all the great videos on their YouTube channel, Healthy Water and Air. Watch the AC giveaway video for your chance to win a free AC system. Just subscribe and comment to double your chances of winning.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
KSL News Time, 12:14. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
The Utah Attorney General's office is charging a Cache County man in connection with an alleged sexual assault 4 years ago, and they're also investigating claims made by 3 other potential victims. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, a man was arrested yesterday for reportedly trying to light a Sunset City police car on fire. Third, traffic and weather together.
We've had an accident in Weber Canyon eastbound SR 39. It's 2 to 3 miles east of the Ogden area. Also, be aware we've had a road closure due to police activity eastbound 7800 south, just west of Redwood Road. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
As a weekend cold front approaches the state, we'll see winds kick up. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, it's 93 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Mike Dubusky. Army ambulances have just arrived at Memorial Health University Medical Center in Savannah, where 2 victims in today's Fort Stewart Army Post shooting are set to receive treatment. ABC's Lydia Blackstone.
This is a pretty lengthy drive from Fort Stewart to the Level 1 Trauma Center of Memorial Health here. It takes about an hour. Normally, they would land on the roof of the building in a helicopter to get them here as soon as possible, but because of the weather, they're not going to be able to do that.
5 people in total were wounded when a male soldier opened fire at Fort Stewart around 11 a.m. local time today. That suspect is now in custody. Days after Texas Democratic lawmakers fled the state to stop a vote on a new redistricting plan, President Trump now says the FBI may need to get involved to bring them back. ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang says that's not all.
Texas Governor Abbott has already threatened to arrest them, and now he's calling on the state Supreme Court to remove the top Democrat, Gene Wu, from his position. And Gene Wu is responding in a statement saying, quote, "History will judge this moment. It will show a governor who used the law as a weapon to silence his people, and it will show those of us who stood for."
President Trump has announced additional tariffs on India over that state's purchasing of Russian oil. Vice President J.D. Vance is meeting with top White House officials later today for a dinner meant to strategize about the Jeffrey Epstein case. It comes as we're getting new details about last week's DOJ interview with Ghislaine Maxwell.
At the conclusion of the interview, we asked Maxwell's attorney if she told the Justice Department what Trump would want to hear.
Did she or you have an ask of the Deputy Attorney General?
No. There's been no asks and no promises, and nothing like that has been made.
President Trump has not ruled out a pardon.
ABC's Aaron Katersky. Apple's set to make a major announcement about domestic manufacturing today. You're listening to ABC News.
Time for the KSL In Depth. It's been almost 2 weeks since a fire destroyed an apartment complex in Mill Creek. Since that day, a local organization has been trying to find the cats that went missing during the fire. Joining me now live is Jessica Vigos, Executive Director and founder of Whiskers. Jessica, what's your organization been doing to get these missing cats back?
We have been on site since the day after the fire. We have been trapping, setting up cameras. We had drones on site, doing everything we can. Also set up food and water stations. So doing everything we can to recover these kitties.
Have you been able to reunite some with their owners?
Yes, we've actually, so there was one kitty reunited with his owner the night of the fire by the fire department. And so that was the first cat. And then we have been able to reunite 6 additional cats with their owners.
And what's that been like? What are the emotions?
Incredible. It is incredible to be able to, give these people back something when they lost everything that they care so dearly about. Most of them were not worried about anything that they lost. They were worried about their cats.
And are there still missing pets that you're hoping to continue to find?
Yeah, there was a total of 14 cats missing from the fire. So there are still about, roughly eight cats still missing. We did get one of the 8 that we were looking for just a couple days ago. We did the reunification this morning. And basically, 6 of the units were very badly destroyed. And so we're hoping that those cats got out, but we are moving forward with a plan of monitoring a food station, feed and water station now, and removing some of the traps to see if any of those cats that got out will make their way back now that things have quieted down. And so we are not giving up hope, not yet, but we're also realistic in knowing that of those 6 cats that potentially some of them might not have made it out.
Right. Well, keep us updated. We all want to hear about the reunification. I've been talking live with Jessica Vigos, Executive Director and founder of Whiskers. KSL News Time, 12:20. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking account. Here's Ricky Meese.
Right now, we are looking at a nice and quiet drive on the Valley freeways. No problems reported there. We do have a road closure due to police activity in West Jordan. Eastbound 7800 South is closed. West of Redwood Road, near 1800 to 2200 West, you do need to avoid the area. No info as to when the road will reopen. If you're going to avoid the area but need to get through the West Jordan area, use 90th South as an alternate. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starting out hot, but a cool front is in store. 99 today, mostly sunny skies, breezy out of the south, about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tomorrow, 10 to 20 with gusts up to 35, red flag warning, partly cloudy, 98. 88, cooler on Friday, partly cloudy skies, but still breezy. 88, less wind on Saturday, sunshine. Partly cloudy, 91 on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday next week, right around 95, mostly sunny. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, it's 93 degrees in Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
You've lived with the pain long enough. The missed meals, covered smiles, the moments you've avoided because of your teeth. If you're living with missing or broken teeth or struggling with dentures, take your life back. Stubbs Dental Implant Center has helped thousands reclaim their health, confidence, and joy with permanent dental implants. What do Stubbs Dental patients say?
I'm no longer in pain, and I can finally be myself again after getting dental implants. I just wish I would have gone to Stubbs Dental sooner.
I was at a denture for 10 years before I got dental implants. My life has completely changed thanks to Stubbs Dental.
You know, I hated looking at myself in the mirror. Getting dental implants from Stubbs Dental has been life-changing.
As a 3-time Best of State winner with over 2,500 5-star Google reviews, Stubbs Dental doesn't just fix teeth, they change lives. Visit StubbsDental.com today to reserve your free consultation. A $350 value, completely free. StubbsDental.com.
Not every victory has fireworks. Sometimes it's a quiet win, like tying your shoes without gasping, walking upstairs without pausing, or being able to sit cross-legged on the floor and play with your kids. That's what soda gave me. I lost 82 pounds in just 16 weeks. And with it went the weight, the aches, the excuses. But what I gained, confidence, energy, time, and a version of myself I thought was long gone. Soda didn't overwhelm me with rules or leave me starving. I ate real food. I learned what my body needed. And the personal nutritionist, game changer. They were there with answers, encouragement, and real solutions. If you're looking for your own quiet win, this is your moment. If it worked for me, it will work for you. Go to SodaWeightLoss.com, click the Request a Nutritionist callback. It's time, you can do it. SodaWeightLoss.com. SOTA, SodaWeightLoss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KSL News Time 12:24. Stanford University says it will be laying off thousands of employees. ABC's Alex Stone reports from California.
Days after UCLA said some medical research would be stopped because of the Trump administration pulling grants, now Stanford University says due to federal policy changes, it will cost Stanford $140 million. It will lay off over 300 employees. The layoffs take effect on September 30th. The federal government is slashing money for research grants and higher education funding and is increasing taxes on university endowments. Alex Stone, EBC News.
Watching Utah's money, President Donald Trump is planning to increase tariffs on imported medications to 250% over the next few years. He tells CNBC they should roll out within the next week and will start small. Claire's, the accessory and jewelry store for tweens, has filed for bankruptcy. CNN reports it's the second time in the last 10 years. The chain has been dealing with competition from online rivals, as well as increasing debt and tariff uncertainty. Roku is launching its own commercial-free streaming service. It's only $2.99 a month, and it's expected to feature 10,000 hours of movie and TV content. CNBC reports it will be called Howdy. Your money at this moment: the Dow up 144 points, the S&P up 48 points, the Nasdaq has gained 247 points. A big deal in the sports world. ABC's Rhiannon Nally reports.
Our sister company ESPN is acquiring the NFL network. Under terms of the non-binding agreement, ESPN will operate the network and will get to show 3 additional NFL games per season, bringing its total to 28. It will also acquire the Red Zone channel. If the deal is approved, the NFL will get a 10% stake in ESPN.
Listen to KSL for the new and traditional content you've always loved. There's the new Inside Sources, expanded from 9 to noon, and new expanded news coverage with Maria Shilaos on Midday, noon to 3. And of course, the news and weather from voices you love, mornings and afternoons. Here are new traditions and the familiar ones on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So talk, they hear you. You can do it if you try.
I'm Jordan Wilcox, your Utah tax attorney. When life gets overwhelming, some things tend to fall by the side.
I'm Carlos Sanchez from Draper, Utah. I was managing a business, helping out a business, doing paperwork and getting paid, and my wife got sick. We filed taxes, but then we got audited. And when I went and talked to the IRS, they didn't give me any choice. The IRS pretty much said, this is what you owe us, when are you gonna pay us? And we're talking quite a bit. But every time I drive, I listen to the radio. Jordan Wilcox, Jordan Wilcox. So I figure there's a reason these guys on the radio. So I called them.
Put an end to IRS collection and aggression today.
The amount that the IRS came up with, close to $250,000, and the offer and compromise was about $7,600. That's it.
This is Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Let's solve your IRS nightmare. Visit endtaxworry.com.
Go for it. The outcome, it was worth it. I'm okay.
endtaxworry.com.
KSL News Time 12:29. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking account. Here's Ricky Meese.
Right now, we're seeing a good drive north and southbound I-15 between Bountiful and Bluffdale, but a little bit of construction slowing southbound I-15 in Davis County. This is near Burton Lane as you're going from Kaysville to Farmington. Is something we're used to. The rest of your Salt Lake County freeways are seeing a good drive. And for those in the West Jordan area, you need to avoid 7800 South. Eastbound is closed due to police activity at about 2200 West. You need to use 90th South as an alternate. Why settle for a basic night out when all tickets for Utah Symphony and Utah Opera performances are now on sale? Don't wait, prices go up after August 31st. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Calling for mostly sunny skies today. How about a high of 99 with a 42% chance of seeing 100 degrees? It'll also be breezy this afternoon, fire danger elevated. Tomorrow, 98, windy out of the south, partly cloudy. Then we drop off to 88 on Friday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, it's 93 degrees in Salt Lake City.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon, KSL News Time 12:30. KSL's top story this hour. Several tax increases have been approved in districts across the Wasatch Front. The Alpine School District passed a property tax increase last night, and they say it's designed to help the 3 new school districts that will be created in 2027. And the municipal election next week will play a big role in what those new districts look like. Our team coverage begins with KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson.
At the end of the day, on June 30th, 2027, the Alpine School District, it will no longer exist. And there's a lot that has to be done before that date to make sure the 3 new districts are up and running.
This is really historic, isn't it, to elect that many school board members all at once and then ask them, hey, just go create a new school district and do everything that's required to make it successful in about 18 months.
Alpine District Communications Director Rich Stoll tells Inside Sources there's around 70 people running to be on these 3 new school boards, and voters, they should be talking to these candidates, listening to their ideas, because they will shape the future of education in northern Utah County. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
Meanwhile, the Tooele County School District is now adopting an 8% property tax increase despite a lot of emotion at last night's meeting. Our team coverage continues with KSL News Radio's Adam Small, who has more from the meeting.
What board member Smith explained has been her experiences with constituents.
The auditorium of Tooele High School was packed last night with dozens of people, many of them upset with the district's proposal to increase property tax revenue by more than 8%. It'll cost many families just under $300 more per year. The meeting was interrupted several times by booing or outbursts from the crowd. Those in attendance were given a chance to speak at one point and didn't hold back.
And I don't know what else to say except we don't want a tax increase. You do not deserve to get any more taxes.
Many residents claim the district isn't being transparent about how these new funds would be spent. The district, though, is saying it needs the $9.25 million to stabilize its finances and maintain the current salaries for teachers. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories. President Trump is imposing new tariffs on goods from India. It's a way of penalizing Russia. ABC's Stephen Portnoy explains.
The announcement came just hours after the president's senior envoy Steve Witkoff met with Vladimir Putin at the Kremlin to seek an off-ramp in the Ukraine war. Believing it's now necessary to ramp up the pressure on Moscow, the president is announcing an additional 25% tariff on goods imported from India because India is a major buyer of oil from Russia. The move would see duties on Indian imports brought to a total of 50%.
The new tariff will go into effect in 21 days. We're now hearing from Utah's Attorney General after his peers in all 50 states asked the U.S. Department of Justice to crack down on illegal offshore gambling. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly has details.
The letter states U.S. states are losing $4 billion a year in tax revenue because of gambling on foreign platforms. Utah's Attorney General Derek Brown tells Inside Sources these companies are involved in money laundering and human trafficking that is outside the jurisdiction of most states.
Partnering with the Department of Justice specifically to identify who they are, where they're operating.
Brown also says the foreign gambling websites fail to verify the ages of those using their platforms and ignore state laws. They want the U.S. Attorney General to get banks and credit card companies to ban transactions with the illegal websites. Heather Kelly, KSL News Radio.
Congressman Owens is on the hunt for a solution to the national labor shortage, and he's looking for a fix right here in Utah. KSL News Radio's Claire Scott has the story.
According to Congressman Burgess Owens, the Utah State Correctional Facility has the right idea. He says their Making It Work program gives inmates the resources and the hands-on experience they need to enter the workforce. The latest jobs report found that over 7 million Americans are unemployed, and there are 7 million job vacancies. Cami Mondo with Deseret News reports that Owens believes that programs like the Making It Work program at the correctional facility can help bridge that gap, giving people the tools they need to take the next step.
Owens tells the Deseret News he plans to introduce the new legislation in early September. Today marks 80 years since the first atomic bomb was dropped on the Japanese city of Hiroshima, and now Americans are split on whether it was justified. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
It was around 8 a.m. when Enola Gay dropped the first atomic bomb above the city of Hiroshima, instantly vaporizing thousands of citizens, and when combined with numbers from the second bomb in Nagasaki, eventually killing upwards of 200,000 people. Pew Research reports at the time a large majority of Americans approved of the bomb, but over the years approval has gone down, and now we're split, with around 35% saying those actions were justified and 31% saying they were not.
The plane carrying the bomb was hangared in Wendover, Utah, but now you can find it on display at the Smithsonian. There are currently efforts underway to preserve the hangar. First look traffic, here's Ricky Meese.
A good drive on I-15 and the rest of your Salt Lake County freeway is a road closure due to police activity in West Jordan, eastbound 7800 south at 2200 west. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:36.
When you take your grandkids to Disney, do they know what's in your investment portfolio? Do they even care? They're busy having a great time, and you're busy making memories. At Galileo Wealth Management, we understand the nuts and bolts of retirement planning, our investments, the stock market, taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and more. But think about it. What are you trying to do here? Is your goal to beat the S&P? Or is your goal to make memories with your family? Our goal is to give you the confidence to spend in retirement without the fear of running out of money. Call Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management today, 801-516-3227. That's 801-516-3227, or go online to GalileoWealth.com. Let Todd Kim and Galileo Wealth Management help you make memories, not just money.
Today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
The Tooele County School District is now adopting an 8% property tax increase despite a heated Truth in Taxation meeting last night. KSL News Time, 12:38. School districts around the Wasatch Front have been busy wrapping up construction and remodeling projects ahead of the new school year, but not every project will be done on time. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff has more.
One exception is the Roslyn Heights Athletic Complex in the Salt Lake City School District.
Will hopefully benefit the community, like a playground and finishing up the facility that has bathrooms and water and things like that. So we're still waiting on a couple of those, but students are actually already using the facility. It's not open to the public just yet, but we hope that'll be ready pretty soon.
District spokesperson Yandere Chatwin says the complex will be used by some of the student athletes during the renovation of Highland High School. She says they're hoping to open the complex later this month. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
The Rich County Sheriff's Office is scrambling after 2 of their 4 deputies quit over issues with pay, working long hours, and low staffing.
Several times this month, I've been out for 16, 17 hours.
Former Deputy Brian Wilmore tells KSL-TV it wasn't just the long hours and pay, but the lack of help that forced him and his partner to leave.
I don't like the way that this is all played out because I don't like leaving the community shorthanded.
The county says the two asked for a pay raise of $10 an hour along with requesting 4 new deputies, but they can't make that happen in a short amount of time, especially because it would likely mean a property tax increase. KSL News Time 12:39. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking account. Here's Ricky Meese.
We are looking at a nice and quiet drive on the Valley freeways. We've had a little bit of slow traffic at times through the construction zone in Davis County, southbound I-15 on the way to the Farmington area, but that's to be expected. We have also had a road closure. Now, this is due to police activity in West Jordan. Eastbound 7800 South is closed after 2700 West. If you need to travel through West Jordan, take 90th South as an alternate. Advanced Window Products, factory direct affordable windows. Call today, they're on their way. Financing available. Save now, pay later. AdvancedWindows.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Forecasting some warm Wednesday temperatures. 99 today, mostly sunny skies, and a bit of a breeze out of the south. Tomorrow, 98, partly cloudy skies, and we will see wind across the entire state. Red flag warnings will be in place. Working into Friday, cooler, 88, and partly cloudy with a slight breeze. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, it's 93 degrees in Salt Lake City. Coming up on Midday, the ex-husband of family vlogger Ruby Franke is suing Jody Hildebrandt, accusing her of misrepresenting herself as a mental health professional. And we'll get more insight on the case from KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas. That's next, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you have a drain that's clogged or backed up, after you've tried the plungers and products, the next step usually involves some kind of drain snake or cabling equipment. You see, sometimes the blockage is far enough down the line that you need special equipment that most homeowners just don't have. That's where the Drains Department at Any Hour Services can help. A drain snake can clear most blockages and get the water flowing again, and clearing blocked drains is what our Drains Department does day in and day out. So if you're a homeowner with a drain line that's clogged or backed up and you'd like one of our drain technicians to come and snake the line for you, it's only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
At Trio Senior Living, older adults aren't slowing down. They're just getting started. The Prime Fit Wellness Program expands wellness beyond the gym into every aspect of community life. Whatever your goals, the team at Trio Senior Living has got your back, so you can put your best foot forward. Call 801-475-4004 today to schedule your personal visit. This Friday from 10 to 1, the movie show comes to Sound Sleep. But first, take time to learn about a better night's rest. Sound Sleep delivers oral appliance therapy that treats sleep apnea without the use of CPAP machines. They're professionally fit, warranted, and covered by most major medical insurance. End the days of a poor night's sleep. With offices from Clearfield to St. George, Sound Sleep will help. Call Sound Sleep at 801-716-8672 today.
KSL News Time 1244. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
voters in northern Utah County are being asked to carefully look over school board candidates that will create 3 brand new districts in a little under 2 years. I'm KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson.
Second, West Jordan police are on the scene at Redwood Road. We're hearing it's due to reports of shots fired, but we're still waiting to get more details. Third, traffic and weather together.
And with that police activity, we do have it impacting traffic in West Jordan. Eastbound 7800 South is closed at about 2200 West. You need to avoid this area. No word as to when the road will reopen. Use 90th South as an alternate. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
99 this afternoon, mostly sunny and a bit of a breeze. Winds really kick up tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 93 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. KSL's top national stories.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Mike Dubusky. 5 soldiers in Georgia are currently being treated at hospitals near Savannah after a gunman opened fire at the largest Army post east of the Mississippi, Fort Stewart.
Around 10:56 is when local law enforcement was alerted that there was an incident on the base, an active shooter situation, and the base was locked down about 8 minutes later at 11:04. Around 11:35 is when the base tells us that the shooter was apprehended, and then about 12:04 was when the lockdown was lifted.
ABC's Louis Martinez at the Pentagon. At least 2 of the victims are currently being treated at Memorial Health University Medical Center, a level 1 trauma center about an hour's drive from the base. That shooter, a military official tells ABC News, was a male soldier. President Trump and members of his cabinet have been briefed, and the FBI is offering assistance. Fort Stewart has scheduled a press conference about the shooting set to happen about an hour from now. This is ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth. The ex-husband of Ruby Franke in the famous family vlogger case, is now suing Jody Hildebrandt for medical malpractice. He's accusing her of misrepresenting herself as a medical health professional. Joining me now live is KSL legal analyst and co-host of Inside Sources, Greg Skordas. Greg, what do you make of this lawsuit?
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. So he sued her for what we call medical malpractice, and he's claiming that at the time that she was treating his wife, and in some respects even him, she was a mental health therapist, and at that time she was actually licensed by the state of Utah as a clinical mental health counselor. So she held herself out as a psychologist and held herself out as much, much more. But even what she was licensed for at the time made her vulnerable for a medical malpractice lawsuit, and that's exactly what he filed against her.
And what do you think the likelihood is that Kevin Franke would actually win this lawsuit?
Well, I mean, she's pled guilty to virtually everything that's listed in the lawsuit. So he's claiming that she held herself out as a healthcare worker, that she wasn't, that is a psychologist, that she harmed his children. She's pled guilty to that. He's claiming that she ruined his marriage and that she ruined his career, even affected his church membership. So I think he's got a very compelling lawsuit based on the fact that she's admitted probably 90% of the conduct. But the problem that you have in a case like this is, what's he going to be able to collect? I mean, does she have an estate? Does she still have any property? Does she have anything in her name? So when people say winning a lawsuit, you can win on the merits, but collecting at the end of the day is another problem altogether.
Do you think sometimes people, even though they win and they're not going to get maybe actual funds, it's almost principle of the matter?
You're exactly right, and I think that's what's happening here. And part of it is also to reestablish his reputation. I mean, he took a hit, and she really put him down, according to this lawsuit, both professionally and as a father and as a husband. And I think he wants to reestablish his relationship and have some finding, whether it's by a judge or by some admission from her, that he wasn't the monster and wasn't the bad person that she made him out to be. And in fact, she was the problem.
Okay. And we're going to stay up to date on this story. I think a lot of people here, especially in Utah, are very invested in kind of the outcome of this whole thing. So, Greg, thank you so much for coming on with us. I've been talking to KSL legal analyst and co-host of Inside Sources, Greg Skordas, for our KSL In-Depth. KSL News Time 12:49. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's MyStyle checking account. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have a road closed in West Jordan due to police activity. It's the eastbound side of 7800 South. It's closed at about 2200 West, so you can go past 2700 West, but not much further. In fact, UDOT is suggesting you avoid the area altogether and use 90th South as an alternate, since we don't have an estimated time as to when the road will reopen, and it's very congested in the area. So between Redwood Road and 2700 West, you're going to see, even though the road is closed on the eastbound side, it's also causing some westbound slowdowns through that stretch. If you're traveling any of the Salt Lake County freeways or on I-15 either direction between Ogden and Provo, looking good with no accidents. Whether you park it, stripe it, or pave it, GoPave Utah has your blacktop covered at GoPaveUtah.com. That's GoPaveUtah.com. Call or visit GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast revealing a high of 99 today with a 42% chance of seeing 100 degrees. Mostly sunny skies and breezy out of the south. Windy tomorrow, partly cloudy, 98, very high fire danger. Down to 88, courtesy of an overnight cool front into Friday morning. Partly cloudy skies, but still breezy Friday afternoon. 88 on your Saturday, sunshine abound. Partly cloudy, 91 on Sunday. And then Monday, Tuesday next week, mid-90s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 93 degrees in Salt Lake City.
Jim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. I want to tell you about our famous "You Don't Need a Warranty" warranty. That's right. It's a warranty you don't need, but we give it to you anyway. Let me explain. Most warranty problems for siding, gutters, and windows are caused by not installing stuff right in the first place. If you rush the work, cut corners, or use subpar materials, you're just begging for problems later. At RGS Exteriors, we don't tolerate careless workmanship. We slow down, focus on every detail, and use only the best materials. We prevent warranty work by doing the job right in the first place. That's why the 10-year everything guarantee we give you is also known as our "You Don't Need a Warranty" warranty. We absolutely will be there if you need to use it. But honestly, you probably will never have to. Done right the first time. That's the RGS way. For siding, gutters, and windows, call 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsexteriors.com.
3 days only, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Save thousands on hot tubs and swim spas. 2 area locations, Salt Lake at Southtown Mall in the Big White Tent, and St. George at Washington County Legacy Park. Major manufacturers liquidation of new 2025 spas, discounted up to 40 to 80%. We have spas to fit any backyard or budget. Free professional delivery, instant on-site financing. 2 area locations, Salt Lake at Southtown Mall in the Big White Tent, and St. George at Washington County Legacy Park. Transform your backyard with a swim spa for the fraction of the price of a pool. The easiest way to exercise or relax in your backyard. Just fill and chill. Shockingly low monthly payments. Don't miss this opportunity to build the backyard of your dreams. See the latest models in person. 3 days only, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 2 area locations, Salt Lake at Southtown Mall in the Big White Tent, and St. George at Washington County Legacy Park. Learn more online at hottubandSwimSpaSale.com. hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. I grew up on tour with my parents. Kind of different, but we bonded over music just like other families do over sports, camping, or other interests. And we talked. Little everyday conversations from silly to serious that built a foundation over time. Honest conversations, like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic.
Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life. And I was so grateful that you and Mom had become these sober, stable people who were always there for me.
I wanted you to know, from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now, that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs, whether it's music or anything else. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
Talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
KSL News Time 12:53. New research shows too much screen time may affect kids and teens' heart health. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
Doom scrolling and binge watching means younger generations are sleeping less. Pediatrician Dr. Jonathan Williams at Ogden Clinic says that sleep is essential to growth.
Sleep dysregulation affects hormonal balances and things like insulin resistance, and those can lead to poorer heart health down the line.
A study by the Journal of the American Heart Association says it can also lead to high blood pressure, unhealthy cholesterol levels, and more. Dr. Williams says screen time leads to more problems than just bad sleep. It leads to unhealthy day-to-day habits like laziness.
If a child is on screens, they are not outdoors and they're not running around and they're not being a kid.
Williams says limiting screen time is important, and so is making sure the screen time kids do have is productive or active, like FaceTiming relatives or learning something new. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Watching Utah's money, ESPN is taking over WWE for the next 5 years at least. The sports network will pay around $325 million per year for the rights to the professional wrestling company's live events. CNBC says the 10 live events a year will be available for streaming on their new $30 a month service. Bath & Body Works is targeting young college-age audiences. Hundreds of universities across the U.S. will now carry the company's products. That includes scents, candles, and other items. Reuters reports that includes schools like George Washington University and Boston College. Fall flavors are coming. Dairy Queen is bringing back the Pumpkin Pie Blizzard August 29th and launching 2 new blizzards. And Krispy Kreme is bringing back the Pumpkin Spice Season menu a little earlier. It'll be back August 11th. Your money at this moment, the Dow up 121 points, the S&P gaining 48 points, and the NASDAQ is up 247 points. President Trump's aides say Apple is set to pledge a major investment in the U.S.
The White House says the president will host Tim Cook in the Oval Office as the Apple CEO commits to investing $100 billion more in the U.S. Earlier this year, President Trump threatened to impose 25% tariffs on imported smartphones, including Apple's iPhones, unless the makers relocate their plants to the U.S.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy reporting.
I used to get overwhelmed at the grocery store. One minute I'm reading a label that says healthy. Next thing I know, it's packed with sugar and stuff I can't pronounce. That's when Soda stepped in. When I started the program, I didn't just get a food plan, I got a lifeline. I lost 82 pounds in 16 weeks. But more than that, I learned how to eat smart, shop smart, stay on track even when life gets messy. I could text my Soda nutritionist from aisle 5 and get instant help. That's support you don't get from a label. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being prepared. And with Soda, I finally felt in control of my health and my habit. Go to SodaWeightLoss.com. SodaWeightLoss.com. SOTA. It stands for State of the Art. Click the Request Nutritionist callback. Get to it. You can do it. You know how I know you can do it? Because I did it. SodaWeightLoss.com. SodaWeightLoss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
It all started with a commitment to comfort. Gillette Heating and Air is proud to be Utah County's go-to team for expert HVAC and plumbing solutions. Need a repair, upgrade, or seasonal tune-up? Don't let cost hold you back. With 0% financing available, it's easy to get the work done now and pay later. Plus, save $100 on any repair over $500 and keep your system running strong with a professional tune-up before the heat hits. Visit GilletteHVAC.com or call 385-GET-COOL to book today. Homegrown service pros, financing made simple, comfort made easy.
Carrier, turn to the experts. A Carrier factory authorized dealer.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country. When you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
Connect with a local divorce attorney today. Text Office 44 to 32 32 32. Office 44 to 32 32 32. CordellCordell.com.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
KSL News Time 12:59. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking account. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have a nice and quiet drive on the Valley freeways. We've had a little bit of slowing at times through the construction southbound I-15 near Burton Lane, going from Kaysville to Farmington. The final clearing of a crash 11th East 800 South, and a road closure in West Jordan eastbound 7800 South is closed near 2200 West due to police activity. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's going to be hot today, looking at a high of 99 degrees, mostly sunny skies, and pretty much the same tomorrow, but we get a little bit of relief coming Friday and Saturday with highs only in the 80s. Right now, it's 93 degrees and partly sunny in Salt Lake City.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A new lawsuit between the Frankies and the Hildebrandts. Their families are connected to several cases of child abuse and neglect. The claim that Jody Hildebrandt misrepresented herself as a therapist.
Kevin Frankie is the husband of Ruby, and he's saying that effectively Jody Hildebrandt was acting as a medical professional, and so if you read the lawsuit, it's kind of a medical malpractice case.
The time is 1 o'clock on Wednesday, August 6th. It's midday. I'm Britt Johnson, in for Maria Shilaos. Coming up, we'll get a breakdown on the case involving these high-profile names in the family YouTuber world. Also this hour...
So what we're going to do is we're going to block you. How are we going to do that? We're going to start a citizens referendum.
People in Tooele County furious over a roughly 8% increase in property taxes approved by the school district. And they're not alone. Several school districts around the state also raising property taxes. But first, our top stories. The Utah Attorney General is filing charges against a Cache County man accused of sexually assaulting a teenage girl more than 4 years ago. They're also investigating claims made by 3 other women who are also accusing Cameron Michael Dolly of assaulting them between 2016 and 2020 when he were all teenagers. Investigators are also asking any other victims to come forward if there are any.
I think we recognize the long-term implications of being a victim of a sex crime and being a victim of most any crime, but children who are victimized can have problems for the rest of their lives.
That's KSL legal analyst and Inside Sources host Greg Skordas. Dolly is currently facing 1 felony rape charge. Our top national story from ABC News. Texas Democratic lawmakers who fled to Illinois to stop a redistricting vote say they're facing threats of violence. In a statement, the lawmakers say anonymous threats were made, but law enforcement took immediate action. ABC's Selena Wang has more.
We're learning from local law enforcement that the hotel where this group of Texas House Democrats were staying, it was temporarily evacuated because of a bomb threat, but we are getting a statement from those Texas House Democrats saying that they are safe, sound, and, quote, undeterred. Now, this does come as there's an effort to try and force that group of Democrats who fled the state to return back to Texas so that they can hold this vote on those new redrawn congressional maps.
Texas Governor Abbott has already threatened to arrest them, and now he's calling on the state Supreme Court to remove the top Democrat, Gene Wu, from his position. Other national stories KSL is following. Stanford University says it will be laying off thousands of employees. ABC's Alex Stone reports from California.
Days after UCLA said some medical research would be stopped because of the Trump administration pulling grants, now Stanford University says due to federal policy changes, it will cost Stanford $140 million. It will lay off over 300 employees. Layoffs take effect on September 30th. The federal government is slashing money for research grants and higher education funding and is increasing taxes on university endowments. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Your money at this moment. The Dow is up 108 points. That's about 0.25%. The S&P has gained about 0.75%. The Nasdaq is up 249 points. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking accounts. Here's Ricky Meese.
Valley Freeway traffic in really good shape. We've had a little bit of slowing off and on in Davis County, and that's southbound I-15 near Burton Lane with the construction zone. That's to be expected. A road closure still in effect eastbound 7800 south at 2200 west. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
We're looking at mostly sunny skies, a little breezy out there. Right now, it's 93 degrees from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Get Mr. Mac's Performance Missionary Package. Includes 1 performance suit, 4 and collar stretch shirts, 3 ties, 1 mission belt, 1 pair of Echo or Johnston & Murphy shoes. All for just $695 at Mr. Mac.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. For years now, I've been telling you about Connecticut soft water systems that use 2/3 less salt than the others. But I've never told you exactly how they do that. Well, there are several ways, so consider this as part 1 in a series. Most of the softeners out there use a finicky, hard-to-adjust computer to guesstimate when to cycle, and it errs on the side of cycling too often, which means it'll burn through way too much salt way too soon. Connecticut is different. It has an all-mechanical system that measures the water precisely. No computer, no guesstimating, so it cycles only when needed. The result, Connecticut delivers perfectly soft water 24/7 using minimal salt. So why not save your lower back from carrying the 3 bags of salt when all you need is 1? Call Northern Utah's authorized Connecticut dealer, Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake. Call them now, 801-576-8600, or log on to softwaterutah.com and tell them Doug sent you.
You worked hard for your 401k, but if you've left your job, your money might be sitting in the wrong hands. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and it's very possible that the 401k that you have had for years has hidden fees and limited investment choices. But if you're no longer with the company, that 401k may be at the mercy of your former employer. All of these things could be costing you thousands. Rolling over your 401k into an IRA can provide better investment options that align with your long-term goals. At Trajan Wealth, we're fiduciary advisors that are held to a higher standard with no hidden agenda and no hidden fees. Don't let your retirement dollars sit in an old plan, and don't roll it over to your new plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Britt Johnson, in for Maria Shilaos. New developments today in a case involving some well-known names associated with several instances of child abuse in southern Utah. We're learning that the ex-husband of Ruby Franke is now suing Franke's former business partner and therapist, Jody Hildebrandt, alleging that she misrepresented herself as a mental health professional and abused her authority. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff has been digging into this story and joins me live in studio with more. Don, what's the basis of this lawsuit?
Britt, the key to this thing is that Jody Hildebrandt was licensed as a clinical mental health counselor. That is not a professional, but she was portraying herself as a mental health professional. Specifically, she was saying that she was a psychologist.
And what are some of the things that Franke is accusing Hildebrandt of?
So Kevin says Hildebrandt completely separated him from his wife and children. He ordered them to have no contact with them. Says Hildebrandt diagnosed him as being, quote, lustful, narcissistic, manipulative, deceptive, controlling, and selfish, and said that total isolation with only communication with God was going to be the only way for him to overcome those problems. One of the key points of this lawsuit is that diagnosis, because only medical professionals, people who are licensed with doctorate degrees, are allowed to make those kinds of diagnoses.
And what does Kevin claim were some of the consequences from that counsel?
So in the lawsuit, he says one of the many things that he did was lost his job at BYU. He says Hildebrandt told him he wasn't worthy of a temple recommend from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and that he would be a hypocrite to go and renew that recommend. As a result, he missed an appointment to get that recommend renewed. Because the recommend was required for his job at BYU, he was later fired. One of the only times he was allowed to communicate with his wife during the isolation treatment was after he lost that job. He says Hildebrand told him to write a letter to his wife, Ruby, and tell her about being fired. Kevin claims Hildebrand then told Ruby to hold on to that letter in case she needed it as evidence in a divorce case.
Interesting. I think we'll keep everybody updated on this story. Thank you so much. That was KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff for breaking that down for us. And KSL legal analyst and co-host of Inside Sources, Greg Skordas, also gave his thoughts on this lawsuit.
You're probably wondering why file a lawsuit against a person who's doing probably 30 years, maybe more in prison. And there's some notion, and just sort of reading between the lines here, that Jody Hildebrand had developed some sort of an estate, had actually earned some money during her practice, malpractice I'll call it, and had developed some sort of an estate. So if she has commissions or royalties from any of her writings or her books or anything like that, if she purchased property in her name or in her business name and there's property to be had, he's going to go after that and get that. She may not have anything. I'm certain that this isn't going to be covered by insurance. I mean, I don't know that she had insurance, but what was even more interesting to me was how the attorney, his attorney actually did a very good job writing this lawsuit, characterized her as a medical professional because she really isn't a medical professional.
We'll continue to keep you updated on this story. And we're also following developing news on Midday. 5 soldiers shot on an Army base in Georgia today. Officials say Fort Stewart near Savannah was on lockdown for nearly an hour until they were able to arrest a suspect. The 5 service members who were shot taken to the hospital. More from ABC's Luis Martinez on where the shooting may have taken place.
I think there is a clue about exactly where this may have happened when you see that press release from the 3rd Infantry Division, which is they keep referring to the 2nd Brigade Combat Team Complex. That to me indicates that this was a headquarters facility associated with the unit. Typically, you were thinking about an office space. So workplace violence, of course, is not limited to the civilian world. We've seen previous instances where this has happened.
Our coverage of this shooting continues with News Nation, who has a timeline on the events that transpired this morning.
This all happened at 10:56 a.m. with calls of a shooting at Fort Stewart. This is at the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team area. At 11:04, the base went into lockdown. 11:09, medics were able to reach those wounded soldiers. At 11:35, the shooter taken into custody.
News Nation's Kelly Meyer is at the Pentagon with reaction from DOD officials and the White House.
Continue to get in new reaction from members of government here in Washington. The latest we're hearing from here at the Pentagon, that the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, has been briefed on the shooting that took place at Fort Stewart. They say in a post that we are monitoring the situation. We've been texting with sources here at the Department of Defense as well as with the Army and communicating with them for any updates. We also heard, of course, from the White House. I was texting with White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt here, and she also said that the president was briefed and they are monitoring the situation. We also heard just moments ago from the FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino. He says that FBI personnel are responding to the scene at Fort Stewart in Georgia after the shooting. We will provide any requested resources and or investigative support. And it goes along with Attorney General Pam Bondi also saying that our federal law enforcement agents in Georgia are coordinating to provide support as the situation at Fort Stewart develops. She says that she's praying for all the victims and for our troops at the base. And Stacey Abrams also weighing in, saying she's praying for the wounded soldiers and their families. This is as we hear from an Army spokesperson. We continue to get any developments and updates from them. The latest from them, though, is that there were 5 victims total. They had been sent to the hospital, 1 individual in custody. So we're continuing to see just what the president might say. We know he is set to, sign executive orders or have an announcement today, rather, around 4 p.m. Eastern today. So we may hear from him then on this.
Retired Air Force Lieutenant General Richard Newton spoke to News Nation last hour, giving his reaction to the tragic events.
This is something that I hearkened back to November of 2009 when Major Hassan killed 13 soldiers, wounded 30 others at Fort Hood, Texas. I was in the Pentagon at the time as a 3-star general. I was part of the initial senior officer review of that just hours after that event actually occurred. was obviously an insider threat, and turns out to be Major Hassan. In this case, what's reported that Laura just reported that this is, again, allegedly a Army soldier who has been taken into custody. That was my first reaction, that it was most likely an insider event, and that, but first and foremost, our thoughts and prayers are with those 5 soldiers wounded. I'm sure everything's being done to care for them at this very moment.
We'll continue to track this story and bring you updates throughout the afternoon as we learn more. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
All 50 attorneys general around the United States penning a letter to the U.S. Department of Justice asking for offshore gambling sites to be banned. Utah Attorney General Derek Brown adding his name to the letter, too. He joined Inside Sources today to explain why he joined the letter.
My job as Attorney General is to protect citizens of our state and protect the most vulnerable populations. And nothing gets me angrier than when a group of individuals does it in a way that leaves us powerless to do anything because we don't have the jurisdiction. And so in this case, there are a lot of these offshore gaming accounts that are operating online, but they don't have any of the protections that the legal ones do. And they're not legal in Utah, by the way, but there are a lot of people in Utah and all across the country, which is why we have 50 different attorneys general on this issue. And a lot of the protections that are in place just don't exist. And so when problems happen and these organizations that run them out of foreign countries are involved in money laundering or trafficking or just, cybersecurity issues that impact people in Utah, there's very little we can do. And so this is our effort to partner with the federal government and really go after these people where it hurts in places like the payment processing, because there's an impact on these illegal offshore gaming sites. I mean, a lot of states, for a lot of states, it is legal. In Utah, it is not. But whether it's legal or not, it is a problem, particularly because they're operating in a place where we don't have jurisdiction.
The letter says people who use offshore gaming platforms are losing states $4 billion a year in tax revenue. The attorneys general also claim the sites have no consumer protections and fail to verify age requirements.
The legal online gaming operations and websites have protections in place, things like age verification so kids can't do it, or limits on losses or access to help for people who are addicted and can't stop. These offshore gaming sites have none of that. And so that's what makes them so nefarious. And so you also have things like cybersecurity risks where they can hack your data. We've seen ransomware attacks. We've seen cyber threats. We've seen, the kinds of protections that a legitimate organization would have in place that these offshore ones don't. Not to mention, just to be crass, but these offshore folks, they don't pay taxes. And the ones that are here locally or domestically do.
The AGs are also asking the U.S. Department of Justice to coordinate with banks to block unlawful transactions with the gambling sites. Many high-profile, well-known names in the political world being subpoenaed by Congress for their connection to Jeffrey Epstein. The latest developments on this case next. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's MyStyle checking accounts. Ricky?
Freeway traffic in the valley looking pretty good. We've had a little bit of slowing northbound I-15 approaching 2100 south. And a road closure still in place for West Jordan drivers eastbound 7800 south near 2200 west. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Can you believe it?
Touchdown! Stayed inside the boundary.
24 days until opening kickoff. This is your home for BYU football. Plus, breaking news and weather every morning. Listen for Andy and Amanda each morning when you get in the car. And Jeff Kaplan on the drive home on KSL News Radio.
You know, in Box Elder County, they're all about the bucket list. Want to go birding at the premier birding destination in the western United States? Well, check off the Bear River Migratory Bird Refuge. How about land art? The spiral jetty and sun tunnels will leave you inspired. Or stand on the spot where the Union and Central Pacific Railroads joined and forged the destiny of a nation. Yep, Golden Spike National Historical Park is like no other place. Check. Splash, boat, camp, or fish your day away? Willard Bay State Park will guarantee a good time. Soak in a natural hot spring with the highest mineral content in the world? That would be Crystal Hot Springs. You'll feel rejuvenated. Eat at Utah's original steakhouse. Maddox Ranch House is perfection. Check. A 1920s diner. The Idle Owl Cafe will transport you back in time. As you empty your Box Elder County bucket list, you'll find a whole new set of adventures to fill it up again. Fill up your bucket list at visitboxeldercounty.com.
You've lived with the pain long enough. The missed meals, covered smiles, the moments you've avoided because of your teeth. If you're living with missing or broken teeth or struggling with dentures, take your life back. Stubbs Dental Implant Center has helped thousands reclaim their health, confidence, and joy with permanent dental implants. What do Stubbs Dental patients say?
I'm no longer in pain, and I can finally be myself again after getting dental implants. I just wish I would have gone to Stubbs Dental sooner.
I was at a denture for 10 years before I got dental implants. My life has completely changed thanks to Stubbs Dental.
You know, I hated looking at myself in the mirror. Getting dental implants from Stubbs Dental has been life-changing.
As a 3-time Best of State winner with over 2,500 5-star Google reviews, Stubbs Dental doesn't just fix teeth, they change lives. Visit StubbsDental.com today to reserve your free consultation. A $350 value completely free. StubbsDental.com.
I am not a rich woman, but I feel like a rich woman every time I go in my closet. The best, hands down, present I've ever received was my husband secretly redid my closet with Closets by Design. So now when I go in there aren't all these shoes just junked on the floor. They're neatly sitting on their shelves. And my necklaces are hanging on their individual hooks, and earrings are in their little squares in this soft drawer that pulls out. It's just gorgeous. In fact, he saw how much I loved it. He had Closets by Design redo the garage. So now all the stuff, the tools, the toys, the junk is all in cabinets. When you open our garage door, you see cars. That's it. It's amazing. The things that Closets by Design can do, and it's going to save you money right now because you get up to 40% off plus an additional 15% off with 18-month financing. You can do so much with your closet, much more than you realize, with this wonderful Utah company, Closets by Design. Find out more at 1-800-BY-DESIGN or closetsbydesign.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Lowe's knows when you're looking for reliability, the right brand makes all the difference. And now, Lowe's is the exclusive home improvement retailer for the Whirlpool water treatment line, including their Wi-Fi softener, under-sink filtration system, and more. With Whirlpool's proven performance and our everyday low prices, better tasting, better quality water is within reach. Shop pro-trusted brands like Whirlpool and more, in-store or online. Lowe's, we help, you save.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Britt Johnson, filling in for Maria Shilaos. We're streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. New subpoenas from the House Oversight Committee issued over the Jeffrey Epstein case. And among those listed, some of the most well-known names in American politics. ABC's Aaron Katursky has the names on this episode of the Start Here podcast, hosted by Brad Milkey.
Former President Bill Clinton, along with a number of other former government officials, Republicans and Democrats, as the Republican-led House Oversight Committee seeks information about the Epstein investigation. Former President Clinton, after he left the White House, flew on Epstein's private jet as part of his work for the Clinton Foundation, but he has said he knew nothing of Epstein's terrible crimes. And the former attorneys general, including Eric Holder and Jeff Sessions and Bill Barr, the committee wants to know what they knew about Jeffrey Epstein and the investigation into his sex crimes.
I was going to ask why. And so, because I think there's some people wondering, they see this list including former President Bill Clinton, and they're like, is this almost a poke at Democrats? Like, if you're going to force us to go back and forth with the White House on this, we're at least going to embarrass some of your prominent Democrats as well. It sounds like it's a pretty wide net of people they're asking for, though.
On one hand, the subpoenas include the Justice Department for the full Epstein files, which the Trump administration has refused to release after earlier promising to release them. So that prolongs the controversy that President Trump has tried to end.
You're making a very big thing over something that's not a big thing. You should be talking about, if you're going to talk about that, talk about Clinton.
But he has also tried to shift the focus away from himself after Attorney General Pam Bondi reportedly told him his name appeared in the Epstein files multiple times. Trump has suggested putting the focus on Democrats like Bill Clinton. So the Republican-led committee included Clinton and other prominent Democrats in its subpoenas.
Well, and like you said, Aaron, there's still the question of what will be sent from the DOJ or from grand jury testimony over to Congress and perhaps even released to the public. I mean, what is being considered right now?
There are a couple of things on the table right now. Not the full Epstein files, but a small fraction from the grand jury investigation into Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. The Justice Department is asking 2 federal judges in New York to release transcripts of grand jury testimony from law enforcement officials. And there were only 2 of them who testified before the grand jury. That stuff's normally secret, Brad, but the Justice Department is pushing for its release in the name of transparency. At the same time, refusing to release the full files, which would contain a lot more information.
Todd Blanche is one of the most highly respected people you'll ever meet. So I know this. I didn't discuss it with him, but anything he talked about with her or the fact that he did that, not unusual, number one, and most importantly is something that would be totally above board.
Sources tell ABC that the Department of Justice is now considering releasing the full transcript of the multi-hour conversation between Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and Ghislaine Maxwell.
This was a highly unusual meeting arranged by Ghislaine Maxwell. She is seeking a reprieve from her 20-year prison sentence. She met for 9 hours over 2 days with Todd Blanche, who, Brad, you know, was once President Trump's personal attorney.
Well, Aaron, but wait, just so I'm clear, Ghislaine Maxwell obviously spoke to the DOJ recently, but she's also, I'm sure, all over these investigative files and grand jury testimonies from years ago. This time, she knew when she was walking in to talk to the DOJ this time around that she is specifically looking for leniency from the Trump administration. So I guess I'm wondering, is the Trump administration like, yeah, we'll release this conversation in which she clearly would have nothing bad to say, you'd think, about the current president?
In fact, sources who are familiar with the contents of the interview that Todd Blanche conducted with Maxwell tell ABC News that Maxwell said nothing that could harm President Trump. Instead, telling Blanche that Trump did nothing in her presence that would have caused her concern. And remember, Maxwell and Epstein were around Trump quite a bit before Trump said he and Epstein had a falling out after Trump accused him of stealing employees from Mar-a-Lago, his Florida golf club. And so Maxwell comes to Todd Blanche saying nothing harmful about Trump. And as her attorney told us, she is unquestionably looking for relief. Maybe not an outright pardon, he said, but some kind of relief from a sentence that the defense considers unfair. And remember, Brad, what happened just a few days after Maxwell's meeting with Todd Blanche? She was transferred from a federal prison in Tallahassee to a minimum security women's camp in Texas. Her fellow inmates there include Elizabeth Holmes of Theranos fame and Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Jen Shaw.
I see. So already kind of like a perk in that regard, at least. And you could imagine that this ends up being the only thing, that the DOJ conversation with Ghislaine Maxwell ends up being one of the only things that's actually out in the public realm, because there are real legitimate reasons not to be releasing grand jury testimony.
We're watching developing news on KSL News Radio. I'm Britt Johnson.
Some of this stuff is going to be redacted.
The U.S. Army is giving an update on today's shooting at Fort Stewart in Georgia. That injured 5 soldiers. Let's listen in.
Brigadier General Lubis will make a statement regarding the incident and take a few brief questions. Before we begin, however, I'd like to go over just a couple things with you. We have limited time for questions given that this is an ongoing investigation, and we may not have all the information that we can share, but we will try to be as transparent as possible. We will not release the name of any victims until the next of kin notification has been complete. We will not speculate as to any intentions, motives, or backstories, given that this is an ongoing investigation. When you ask your questions, we ask that you please give your name and the affiliation in case we need to do a follow-up. And it's a little hard to hear, so please speak up so that General Lubis can hear you and that you can hear him. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I will now turn it over to General Lubis.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us. This morning, shortly before 11 o'clock, an active duty soldier assigned to Fort Stewart, Georgia, shot and wounded 5 of his fellow soldiers here on Fort Stewart. Thankfully, all are in stable condition and all are expected to recover. The alleged shooter is in custody. We have reestablished security. I have lifted all lockdown measures on Fort Stewart, and there is currently no threat to the local community. I'd like to recognize and thank our Army law enforcement and medical personnel and our partners from local, state, and federal law enforcement and emergency services for their quick response and support. I would also like to thank the brave soldiers who immediately intervened and subdued the shooter. These soldiers, without a doubt, prevented further casualties. Our wounded soldiers were initially evacuated to Wynn Army Community Hospital right here on Fort Stewart. All arrived in stable condition, and 3 of the 5 required surgical intervention. 2 have been transported to Memorial Hospital in Savannah, Georgia for additional care. We have identified the alleged shooter as Sergeant Cornelius Radford, an automated logistics sergeant assigned to 2nd Brigade Combat Team. Sergeant Radford has not previously deployed to combat. Sergeant Radford has been interviewed by the Army Criminal Investigation Division and is currently in pretrial confinement, awaiting a charging decision by the Office of the Special Trial Counsel. Right now, our primary focus is first on caring for our injured soldiers and their families, and also supporting the soldiers of the Spartan Brigade. All of the families of the victims have been notified, and we're wrapping our arms around them and ensuring we provide them all the support that we can. Before I take questions, I want to remind you that this is an ongoing investigation, and we're still gathering questions. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll now take your questions.
General Lewis with the Coastal News. Can you give us his what unit he was assigned to and how long he served in the Army? If you didn't mention that.
Yeah, he is assigned to one of our sustainment units here in 2nd Brigade Combat Team at Fort Stewart, and I will have to confirm how long he served with us. Yes, sir.
Russ Bynum with the Associated Press. As best you can, knowing it's so early, can you walk us through where this happened, what happened in the shooting, and were the victims subordinates of the sergeants, or were they people over him in rank?
Yeah, right now it's premature, and we're gathering a lot of the information. What we know is this soldier, the shooting occurred at the soldier's place of work. It did involve his co-workers. We're still not certain about the motivations, but again, he's been interviewed by Army investigators, and we believe we'll gain more information here shortly. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. We don't have any reason to believe it had anything to do with a training event. Other than that, I can't state the motivations for this soldier.
We've heard that the shooter
Yes,
may
sir.
have been from Jacksonville, Florida. Are you able to confirm that? We also heard that he had maybe been arrested for DUI recently.
Yeah, at this point, I can't confirm where he's from. We can follow up on that. I do believe he was arrested locally for a DUI that was unknown to his chain of command until the event occurred, and we started looking into the law enforcement databases.
Robin, now from the current, can you tell us whether or not that was a military weapon or whether this is a personal weapon that the person brought on base?
Yes, ma'am. I can confirm it was not a military weapon, and we believe it was a personal handgun. Yes, sir.
What does this mean for ongoing security measures that this situation was able to occur with the person's weapon?
Yeah, I'm very confident in the security of this installation. We've got a great partnership with local law enforcement. As you can see here at our gates, we have armed guards in protective equipment. This one's a bit difficult, and we're going to have to determine how he was able to get a handgun to his place of duty.
Alicia, News for Jax. Has the suspect had any prior disciplinary or behavioral issues on base?
No, ma'am, not that we're aware of. But again, it's early in the investigation, but not that I'm currently aware of. I don't have the details on that, but I know that his soldiers in the area that witnessed the shooting immediately and without hesitation tackled the soldier, subdued him, that allowed law enforcement to then take him into custody.
And we've got time for one more question.
I know that you can't speak to the motivation, but if this turns out to be some situation where somebody had extremist beliefs or maybe classified as a terrorist attack, I mean, how does that change the basis of response or the basis of investigation moving forward?
Yeah, currently we have no reason to believe any of that is the case. However, we continuously assess the threat environment, both in the immediate area and across our Army and DoD installations, and we will address the threat level accordingly.
Do you have the rank of the shooter?
Yes, sir. He was a sergeant. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your questions, and again, thanks to the local responders and the local community.
We've been listening to the U.S. Army giving an update on a shooting this morning that injured 5 soldiers at Fort Stewart in Georgia. We'll continue to follow the story throughout the day. It's 1:36 midday at KSL News Radio. Hello, I'm Britt Johnson, in for Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we're watching this hour. Utah, property taxes on the rise to fund local school districts. Many residents not pleased. The latest school districts to approve the tax raise, Tooele School District. And increased screen time affecting your child's heart. We'll talk about new research coming up. Now, KSL's top local story. A man is now under arrest accused of sexually assaulting a 17-year-old after a party in South Salt Lake City last week. The probable cause statement says 26-year-old Carlos Espinoza Sanchez was one of 2 men who volunteered to drive the girl to a gas station to get a phone charger after her phone died and her friends had already left the party. While in the back seat of the car, the girl says she was sexually assaulted. Espinoza Sanchez could now face 2 felony charges. Utah's Attorney General is signing on to a letter asking the Department of Justice to ban foreign gambling sites. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly explains.
It isn't just Utah. All 50 attorneys general signed the letter arguing those offshore gaming platforms keep states from collecting $4 billion a year in tax revenue. Utah AG Derek Brown tells Inside Sources they're focused on one particular way to gamble.
It's the online casinos and poker sites that we're most concerned about.
Brown also says the sites have no consumer protections and are involved in money laundering. The AGs want the U.S. Department of Justice to coordinate with banks to block unlawful transactions with the foreign gaming sites. Heather Kelly, KSL News Radio.
Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 139 points, the S&P up 51 points, the Nasdaq has gained 259 points, that's almost 1.25%. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking accounts. Here's Ricky Meese.
A small accident in Draper, northbound I-15 after 146 south. All vehicles are out of traffic on the shoulder. And we still have the eastbound closure of 7800 South in West Jordan near 2200 West. You'll need to use 90th South as an alternate. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hot today, pushing triple digits, and no sign of rain for the full 7-day forecast. Right now, it's 97 degrees and sunny from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
There's a photo my wife took of me, sitting crisscross on the floor playing Legos with my boys. Might not sound like much, but back in 2020, I couldn't get down there without pain, let alone enjoy it. After 16 weeks on soda and 82 pounds gone, that picture means everything. It's proof that I'm not just present in my kid's life, but I'm active, engaged, and I'm healthy. Soda didn't just give me a plan. It gave me a partner, a personal nutritionist who helped me every step. Through grocery store trips, family vacations, late night cravings, you name it. If you're a parent who wants to be there, not just someday, but right now, go to sodaweightloss.com. Click the Request a Nutritionist callback. That's sodaweightloss.com. SOTA stands for state of the art. sodaweightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
If you need new windows and you live in Utah, there's only one choice. There are other window companies, but they're more expensive and their windows aren't made in Utah for Utah's ever-changing climate. Advanced Window Products has been building state-of-the-art windows right here in Salt Lake for 39 years. And since they're the factory, they cut out the middleman and you save 30, even 40% on new windows. Plus, right now as they book for fall, Advanced Windows will give you $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. They build the windows, install the windows, and guarantee them for life. And since they're right here in Utah, if you have a problem years from now, just call them. They'll come over. Advanced Windows offers 0% financing, buy now, pay later. They're affordable. Get your new windows and get the energy savings before we get to winter. $2,500 off. Call them, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Britt Johnson, in for Maria Shilaos. Folks in Tooele County now looking at more than 8% property tax increases to help fund education. The board approving the proposal today. Last night, emotions ran high as the Tooele County School District outlined the plan. Hundreds of residents showed up in opposition to the plan, which will cost many families roughly $300 more per year on their property tax.
So what we're going to do is we're going to block you. How are we going to do that? We are going to start a citizens referendum to put this on the ballot. That's what we're going to do. We are going to block.
Many residents claim the district isn't being transparent about how these new funds would be spent. Several people indicated that funds have already been mismanaged and they don't trust that any future funds would be handled any differently. One man cited a state audit as to why he's against the tax hike.
37 of the audit states that the district has significant financial problems. In plain terms, this suggests that the district is facing financial instability and has not provided sufficient documentation to show exactly how the funds are being spent. According to the audit, the district invested an estimated $23.1 million into online education, particularly through the Open Ed program. However, the district later lost its contract with the Open Ed. Even more concerning, the audit mentions over $50 million in additional purchases tied to this program, which were made without board approval or proper oversight.
A teacher spoke out emotionally about how she understands both sides of the issue. She doesn't want her community members to struggle with higher taxes, but also sees the need for more funding in the schools.
The reason that we have such a low morale in our district is because we're overworked and we're underpaid. I am concerned about the working conditions that I am going to be entering in this fall. We do not have the best air conditioning. Actually, we don't have any in the room that I'm in. It's really hard to feel like that you can educate children when they are falling asleep in class because they don't have the best conditions. My request is that I ask that you look at yourselves first. There are ways that we can make this better and not lay the charge at the feet of this people. The reason we're upset is because it is our livelihood that is at stake. We are losing our homes, and we're trying to put food on the table. If we have to cut the salaries because we need to stay within the budget, then I understand that. Sorry. And I ask that if there's a way that we can ease the burden of us to do so before we lay more burdens upon us taxpayers. Thank you.
The district says it needs the $9.25 million to stabilize its finances and maintain the current salaries for teachers. In just 60 seconds, we'll take a look at tax increases in the Alpine School District. Stay with us.
3 days only, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Save thousands on hot tubs and swim spas. 2 area locations, Salt Lake at Southtown Mall in the Big White Tent, and St. George at Washington County Legacy Park. Major manufacturers liquidation of new 2025 spas, discounted up to 40 to 80%. We have spas to fit any backyard or budget. Free professional delivery, instant on-site financing. 2 area locations, Salt Lake at Southtown Mall in the Big White Tent, and St. George at Washington County Legacy Park. Transform your backyard with a swim spa for the fraction of the price of a pool. The easiest way to exercise or relax in your backyard. Just fill and chill. Shockingly low monthly payments. Don't miss this opportunity to build the backyard of your dreams. See the latest models in person. 3 days only, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 2 area locations, Salt Lake at Southtown Mall in the Big White Tent, and St. George at Washington County Legacy Park. Learn more online at hottubandSwimSpaSale.com. hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Back to school, we're continuing our special coverage on Midday. Before the break, I told you about a tax increase coming to Tooele County. Well, conversation about increasing taxes for school districts is also taking place last night in Utah County. Last night, community members spoke both for and against a proposal to raise taxes in the Alpine School District.
Every time we have said no to a bond, you just raise our taxes. Every time we say no to you raising our taxes, you do it anyway. It is very clear to me that all of you on this board do not represent the people or children.
This is Family City USA, and yet we do not invest in education. And it occurred to me, I feel like I paid too little property taxes for the beautiful home that I live in and the beautiful area that I live in. Even if the tax increase doesn't pass, I guess I could just tax myself and give my money to my school. But then those are going to go to the programs that I care about. And I don't think that's fair to other people. So yes, please vote yes on this tax increase.
The school board approving the tax increase last night, saying the extra money will serve as startup funds for the new school districts. The increase is expected to add another $28 per year to the average size home. The proposal to raise taxes expected to help the district as it prepares to split into 3 districts in 2027.
During this period of transition, our board really felt that it was important to give as much flexibility to new boards of education so that they could focus on programs and teacher hiring and not have to worry about, not have to go through kind of the political minefield of figuring out how to fund all of those things that residents are going to expect of their new school districts.
Communications Director for the district, Dr. Rich Stoll, says the increase is about planning for the future.
You know, the reasons for voting in favor of one of these propositions to create a new school district, the reasons are varied, right? So residents need to really decide what they want. Do they want super low taxes and bare bones schools and programs? Or do they want lots of programs, and we know that those come at a cost? We know that one of the drivers out west was probably facilities. So what kind of schools do you want? Do you want, big, beautiful schools? Do you want modern facilities? What do those facilities look like? And then staffing is always a big thing. Sometimes it's really hard to find great teachers. We've been able to do that in Alpine School District for many, many years. Our school district is a destination for teachers because we pay well, we offer good benefits, and probably more than anything, we have very robust systems of support and professional development. So we build these learning communities that teachers really love, and school board members are going to have to commit to whether they want to do that. So it's more than just, passing a vote on a tax increase. once every couple of years. It's really about understanding what students need in today's day and age.
Dr. Stoll joined Inside Sources this morning to talk more about what the district is doing now to ensure all 3 districts are set up for success. One of the things happening right now are races to fill school board seats for all 3 new districts. Why is that process starting now, 2 years before the split?
It takes a long time to get things ready for students. I mean, I feel like we're sort of on annual cycles, but really we're looking 2, 3, 5, sometimes 10 years out on these operational issues and curriculum issues. And when voters decided to create new school districts, they decided to take everything on. You know, what they want to pay teachers, what programs they want in their schools, how big they want their schools, whether or not they are going to have to build new schools. Those are a lot of issues, and so new boards really are going to have that prerogative. We owe it to those voters in those communities to let their more localized representatives make some of those decisions. And so they're going to have to hire a superintendent who will have to hire staff and decide what they want their programs to look like and what they want their teacher benefits to look like. And all of that stuff just has to be done a year or two ahead of time.
The Alpine School District will cease to exist on June 30th, 2027. On that day, the existing school district will hand off everything to the 3 new districts. Too much screen time, bad for your kids' hearts. We'll go in-depth on new research after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's MyStyle checking accounts. Ricky?
The small accident that we had on northbound I-15 going from Bluffdale to Draper near 146 South has already been cleared, so we are looking at a quiet drive on the Valley freeways once again. Don't miss the Rocky Mountain Gun Show at Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy, August 9th and 10th. Get 500 rounds of 9mm ammo for just $85. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
If you've been saying for a long time that you want to lose weight, what are you waiting for? I need to tell you about a program that's taken all of the frustration out of losing weight, and that is Salt Lake City Fat Loss. This program uses a simple combination of foods, so it's all natural to burn that stored fat. And what that means is you lose the weight very quickly, and that helps keep you motivated. There are no injections, no medications, and it's less expensive than other programs because you're not forced to buy prepackaged meals or any bars or other products like that. I've lost more than 40 pounds with this great program, 25 of those in the first 60 days. Many people lose up to a pound per day. You can save $200 right now. Just learn more at slcfatloss.com. You can also call them at 801-450-1882. Again, slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ALL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text ALL to 321-321. That's ALL to 321-321.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different,
Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your priceless vinyl collection. Sure, you sleep on a futon because the money most people would have spent on a bed you spent on more records. But forget the fact that you can stream just about any song ever created for a few dollars a month. No, you need to listen to music in the most difficult way possible. So go ahead and get Progressive so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
Why are we getting killed like this?
Kyle's not here. Got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah. 0 tolerance. He's out for the season.
Harsh.
Hey, he knew not to drink. We've made that clear to all of our kids, right?
No, not really.
Bill, if we don't tell them what we expect and why they shouldn't drink, how are they gonna know?
Talk. They hear you. For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Midday. I'm Britt Johnson in for Maria Shilaos. And here's something all parents need to know. More research showing how too much screen time can be dangerous for your kids and teenagers. And we've all heard that kind of thing before, but now the research shows that too much screen time can affect heart health.
Screens are obviously a big part of life, but we have a growing mountain of evidence showing that excessive screen time and the wrong screen time can have serious and tangible effects on children's health, particularly sleep, but also things like development, mental health, immune function, and now we're learning it can even affect their heart health as well.
Dr. Jonathan Williams is a pediatrician at Ogden Clinic. He says the biggest problem with screens is that it leads to things like doom scrolling and binge watching, taking away precious sleep from your young ones. And that sleep is essential to growth.
I mean, sleep is one of those things where we're just learning more and more about. Almost every month, there's new studies about the importance of sleep. Sleep impacts everything from learning, development, social interactions, mental health, immune function, growth, you name it, it's affected by the quality and the consistency of our sleep.
Dr. Williams says screen time leads to more problems than just bad sleep. It can lead to a whole slew of problems.
So we're still learning. We know that sleep dysregulation affects hormonal balances and things like insulin resistance, and those can lead to poorer heart health down the line. But there's obviously a problem in being sedentary as well. If a child is on screens, they are not outdoors and they're not running around and they're not being a kid. We do know we have new research published in the Journal of the American Heart Association showed an association between screen time and things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and insulin resistance.
Dr. Williams says these bad habits can lead to a lifetime of problems. He also says not all hope is lost. You can do things now to help reverse course for your kids.
I mean, definitely establishing unhealthy screen habits in childhood can have lifelong impacts because that's when you're developing habits for life. But it's not irreversible, right? We can model good screen time use. We can talk about screen-free zones like the dinner table or where they do their homework, or we can reduce screen time around bedtime and establish good, healthy sleep hygiene. And when we do those, we assume that most of those risks can be reversed over time.
And not all screen time is bad.
Something that parents don't often understand is that not all screen time is created equal, right? So like if my child is FaceTiming grandma, that can be very productive and healthy and engaging and stimulating for them in a developmentally advantageous way. But things like video games or YouTube videos that are highly stimulating and aren't as engaging but are more passive, they can be very problematic on the development of a young brain.
And one of the best ways to help your kids develop better screen habits is to have better habits yourself.
I mean, and this is a hard one to swallow, but we as parents are the role models, right? So reminding the parents that the kids are seeing, if you're on the couch doom scrolling, that's the hobby and habit that they're going to pick up. So we need to make sure that we're establishing healthy screen usage for ourselves so that we can better help our children navigate those habits as well.
Dr. Williams is a pediatrician at Ogden Clinic. In the next hour of Midday, we'll talk about construction projects currently underway at your kids' schools. Stay with us.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Another day of wildfire smoke causing hazy skies and poorer air quality around the state.
We worry most about people who are more susceptible to wildfire smoke exposure due to underlying health conditions like chronic lung or heart disease.
The time is 2 o'clock on Wednesday, August 6th. It's Midday. I'm Britt Johnson in for Maria Shilaos. Coming up, we've got tips to keep your lungs happy when the air gets clouded with wildfire smoke. Also this hour,
it's one that didn't work out and it costs money, and that's a problem. And we need to solve that problem and tell people they can't do that.
A new task force to combat construction fraud in Utah. How does the industry see this move? But first, our top stories. The Utah Attorney General is filing charges against a Cache County man accused of sexually assaulting a teenage girl more than 4 years ago. And they're also investigating claims made by 3 other women who are also accusing Cameron Michael Dolly of assaulting them between 2016 and 2020, when they were all teenagers. Investigators are also asking if any other victims will come forward, if there are any.
I think we recognize the long-term implications of being a victim of a sex crime and being a victim of most any crime. But children who are victimized can have problems for the rest of their lives.
That's KSL legal analyst and Inside Sources host Greg Skordas. Dolly is currently facing 1 felony rape charge. Our top national story from ABC News. Health and Human Services is rolling back $500 million worth of funding to develop mRNA vaccines, the same technology used to create a COVID-19 vaccine less than a year after the pandemic began. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Darian Sutton says the move from HHS will have negative impacts on global health.
One of the reasons mRNA technology is so beneficial is because it has the ability to be adaptable and it has the ability to be quickly made, as opposed to traditional vaccines, which take a significantly longer amount of time in order to produce and can be difficult, especially in the setting of an acute event such as a pandemic.
Studies have also shown that the mRNA technology has helped to prevent 2 million deaths, and it's kept some 18 million people out of the hospital. A New Mexico man heard noises in his home and was shocked with what he found inside. ABC's Alex Stone reports.
Bear came in, I killed him.
Heard on law enforcement body-worn camera, the man living near Hermit Peak, New Mexico, northeast of Albuquerque, said he was asleep in his home and heard noises at around 11 at night. He grabbed his rifle and found a black bear in his home going through his stuff. The bear ripped apart his kitchen.
Tore the door off my cabinet.
He shot the bear. The Game and Fish Department says the man had every right to defend himself.
We are not going to charge anybody in those situations.
The man was uninjured. The bear is dead. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Your money at this moment, the Dow gaining 81 points, the S&P up 45 points, the NASDAQ is up 252 points. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking accounts. Here's Ricky Meese.
Valley Freeway traffic rolling along. No accidents, no delays. We still have eastbound lanes closed to traffic on 7800 South in West Jordan near 2200 West. When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cyprus Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypruscu.com today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
It looks like today's high will hit 99 degrees with smoky and breezy conditions. We cool off a little bit to 98 on Thursday with more clouds before falling into the 80s on Friday and Saturday. Right now it's 97 degrees from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Right now at S&S Roofing, get $1,000 off any roof replacement. Plus, you'll get their incredible 50-year worry-free warranty. Dial pound 250 and then say the keyword S&S Roofing for a free bid.
Summer is the perfect time for a refresh. Maybe you're taking time off from school, hitting the road for a well-earned vacation, or just soaking up the sunshine in your own backyard. This summer, give it the same fresh start with Zero-Res carpet and air duct cleaning. Right now, Zero-Res is offering an unbeatable summer deal. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $129 and take 15% off air duct cleaning while you're at it. Zero-Res cleans with their patented ZR water, which means no soaps, no harsh chemicals, and no crunchy residue left behind. So whether you're cleaning up from summer adventures or just want a home that feels as fresh as it looks, now's the time. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $129 and take 15% off air duct cleaning while you're at it. Book your appointment today at zerores.com. Spelled the same forward or backward. Zero-Res is the right way to clean.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Britt Johnson in for Maria Shilaos. The Utah Attorney General is charging a Cache County man with rape in connection with an alleged sexual assault that happened 4 years ago. And investigators say there are other women who are accusing the same man of assaulting them.
Cameron Michael Dolly is being accused of sexually assaulting a 17-year-old girl when he was 18 at a house party in 2021. Dolly, who's now 22, is facing 1 felony rape charge in connection with that case, but 3 other women are also accusing Dolly of assaulting them in separate instances between 2016 and 2020. One of the victims and Dolly were both just 13 years old when she claims he assaulted her. KSL legal analyst and Inside Sources host Greg Skordas tells me because these women were under the age of 18 at the time of their alleged assaults, the statute of limitations won't be a factor.
You think that every crime has a statute of limitations, and for some period that was true. But the Utah legislature has stated that certain crimes do not. So, for example, homicides, murder can be prosecuted anytime. There's no statute of limitations. And sex crimes, especially sex crimes where the victim is a child under the age of 18, we have relaxed and in some instances done away altogether with the statute of limitations.
The Attorney General's office is also asking other potential victims, if there are any, to come forward, and Greg says there's a reason for that.
I think we recognize the long-term implications of being a victim of a sex crime and being a victim of most any crime, but children who are victimized can have problems for the rest of their lives, and because of that, we have decided that they could be prosecuted at any time.
Dolly is not currently facing charges in any of the other cases. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
We'll continue to follow this case and bring you any updates on air and online at kslnewsradio.com. In other news, if you're feeling a little off lately, maybe you've been coughing or sniffling. I've been kind of sniffly today, actually. It very well could be our smoky air. Lung disease specialist at the University of Washington School of Medicine, Dr. Cora Sack, says wildfire smoke can have a big effect.
Common symptoms of wildfire smoke exposure include irritation of the mucous membrane, so that may present with a headache, irritated or itchy eyes, sinus congestion, a scratchy or sore throat, and cough. But more serious symptoms that may prompt you to call your provider or even go to the emergency department would be symptoms like wheezing, shortness of breath, using your asthma medications more than usual, chest tightness or chest pain, or palpitations.
And while anyone can experience these symptoms, people with certain conditions will be more at risk of complications.
We worry most about people who are more susceptible to wildfire smoke exposure due to underlying health conditions like chronic lung or heart disease, people at the extremes of ages, including young children or older adults, pregnant women and their fetuses, or other people with underlying health conditions. We also worry about people who may be more exposed to wildfire smoke, so that would include people like outdoor workers.
But for people who don't have an underlying condition, it might be tempting to go for your usual run or hike, but Dr. Sachs says it's worth it to adjust your routine a bit.
It's always a challenging question whether you should reduce your outdoor activity and pollution events. And in most typical scenarios, we find that the benefits of exercise outweigh the risks from pollution exposure. However, in these really high acute pollution events from wildfire smoke, it's prudent to reduce your vigorous exercise outdoors. You can still exercise indoors, again, if you have an area with clean indoor air. But because people, when they're exercising, you increase your respiratory rate, that means you have a higher dose of pollutants that you're breathing in.
If you're outside and start wheezing or coughing, go indoors right away. If your symptoms don't improve, that's when you should contact your doctor. And this is also a great reminder that it's a good idea to just be aware of what the air quality is like in your area. You can get that information at air.utah.gov or with the KSL Weather app, which you can download for free in your phone's app store. Using artificial intelligence to catch wildfires before they turn into blazing infernos. Emergency responders hoping it will help them get things under control earlier than ever before. KSL 5 TV's Mike Anderson got a closer look at how AI could help.
Before you can see this in the distance,
it's critical that we get there as soon as possible.
Firefighters and dispatchers are hopeful cameras like this.
The system, if it detects smoke, then it will send us a text message and an email.
We'll give them more time. Kevin Rose is the executive director of Weber 911.
And that's been the problems we've had in the past, is some of these fires that start in these remote areas, nobody sees it for quite some time. And
since last October, Weber County has had access to 2 cameras through Pano AI. The San Francisco-based company says the system has already helped catch wildfires early in more than 100 cases across the western U.S.
We found that when it comes to these mega fires, they all start small.
Arvind Satyam is Pano's co-founder and chief commercial officer. He says the idea is to catch the burns before they grow into that mega status, ultimately preventing massive amounts of damage and property loss.
So fire agencies and a whole bunch of stakeholders are able to understand where is the fire, how quickly is it evolving, how do I allocate resources, and you're able to nip it in the bud really quickly.
And while we haven't had that example test case in Weber County just yet,
I mean, it's become very valuable in both evacuations if necessary, deployment of suppression resources, air assets, all of those items.
First responders say they can already see the potential as AI keeps a close eye where there may be no one watching.
The quicker we can get a resource out there to get that fire knocked down before it spreads, it's going to save us time, money, property.
KSL 5 TV's Mike Anderson reporting. There are currently 5 of these AI-powered cameras in Utah, with 2 more on the way. More Midday in just 60 seconds.
I didn't just lose 82 pounds in 16 weeks. I lost fear. I lost shame. I lost that nagging voice in my head that told me I couldn't do it. I thought weight loss meant being hungry or miserable. Soda showed me something different. I wasn't starving. I wasn't white-knuckling it throughout the day. I was learning. I was eating real food, texting my nutritionist when I had a question or hit a wall. People asked if I do it again, and I tell them I do it twice. Because what I got back, my energy, my focus, my sense of control, this isn't about fitting into skinny jeans. It's about showing up for life. Go to sodaweightloss.com. Put the Request Your Nutritionist callback. SOTA, it stands for State of the Art. Sodaweightloss.com. You can do this. You know how I know you can do it? Man, I did it. And I like to eat. Sodaweightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
It's the final countdown before the school year starts back up, and across the state, school districts are racing to get construction projects all wrapped up. Chris Williams with the Davis School District says projects at Sunset Junior High, Bountiful Elementary, and the New Horizon Junior High School will all be complete, including ribbon-cutting ceremonies, by the first day of school. And the Weber School District, they're planning a ribbon cutting for the newly rebuilt Roosevelt Elementary the night before school starts. But in the Canyon School District, construction will not be complete at Eastmont Middle School, despite crews working around the clock over the summer. Jeff Haney with the Canyon School District says they've made arrangements to have the school start as planned with a few adjustments.
It was an around-the-clock construction schedule this summer. And, they worked on the renovations for several months. And that construction timeline, it was tight. We knew it was going to be tight. But, we can pivot online quickly thanks to the lessons that we learned about remote learning during the pandemic. And, Eastmont students will be able to check out their Chromebooks starting on Monday, August 11th, and construction work isn't being done on the bottom floor of the school. And that's safe to occupy. It'll be open to the public, to our employees, to students. And it'll be open while construction work continues on the middle and the top floors. So from the 11th to the 15th of this month, students at Eastmont can go to the school and pick up their Chromebook so they're ready to go when school starts on August 18th, the first day of the school year. And, what we can tell you that was finalized today is that we will continue our nutrition services program while we're in remote learning at Eastmont. So students can pick up their breakfasts and their lunches at two locations while they are in the online learning schedule. At the nearby Willow Canyon Elementary School and Glacier Hills Elementary School, during the lunch hours, they can go there and pick up a sack lunch. And inside that sack will not only be that day's lunch, but the next day's breakfast. So we'll continue serving lunches and breakfasts as well as providing instruction for our students while the work continues on the renovation project at Eastmont.
And Haney says the Eastmont Middle School remodel marks a big milestone for Canyon School District.
We're excited for the completion of this renovation. Because of the completion, it will mean the Canyon District has either rebuilt or renovated every middle school in the Canyon School District. So Eastmont was our final project to do, either renovate or rebuild those middle schools. And it's an exciting time to see that come to completion. And with these renovations at Jordan, while we haven't fully renovated Jordan High School because it's a relatively new school, we have rebuilt Alta, Brighton, Jordan, Hillcrest, and Corner Canyon. So in the very short period of time that Canyon School District has been a school district, we have totally either renovated or rebuilt all of our high schools and renovated or rebuilt all of our middle schools and did a significant number of our elementary schools.
And just because school will be in session, it doesn't mean that all these projects will be put on pause. There are some big undertakings still underway in Salt Lake. Yandri Chatwin with Salt Lake City School District says they're excited about current projects that will not only benefit students, but the entire community.
One project that's still in the works is the Roslyn Heights Athletic Complex. That is a facility that will be used by some of the student athletes at Highland High School during renovation of the campus. So the Highland High School girls tennis team is already using that facility, but there are a few things that will hopefully benefit the community, like a playground and finishing up the facility that has bathrooms and water and things like that. So we're still waiting on a couple of those, but students are actually already using the facility. It's not open to the public just yet, but we hope that'll be ready pretty soon.
Salt Lake City School District has a bond that's paying for these projects. Chatwin says they're in a unique position of trying to rebuild and remodel while also accounting for continued declining enrollment numbers. Utah's launching a new task force to combat a growing trend in construction fraud. We'll get an industry insider's perspective after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking accounts. Ricky?
Salt Lake City PD wrapping up a crash at 7th East and 5th South. Really didn't cause too much of an issue. And we still have the eastbound direction closed on 7800 South due to police activity at 2200 West. When you take UTA, you can do just about anything while you ride. You won't even notice all the traffic you're missing. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Listen to KSL for the new and traditional content you've always loved. There's the new Inside Sources, expanded from 9 to noon, and new expanded news coverage with Maria Shilaos on midday, noon to 3. And of course, the news and weather from voices you love, mornings and afternoons. Here are new traditions and the familiar ones on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath.
High five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
When you take your grandkids to Disney, do they know what's in your investment portfolio? Do they even care? They're busy having a great time, and you're busy making memories. At Galileo Wealth Management, we understand the nuts and bolts of retirement planning, our investments, the stock market, taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and more. But think about it. What are you trying to do here? Is your goal to beat the S&P? Or is your goal to make memories with your family? Our goal is to give you the confidence to spend in retirement without the fear of running out of money. Call Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management today, 801-516-3227. That's 801-516-3227, or go online to GalileoWealth.com. Let Todd Kim and Galileo Wealth Management help you make memories, not just money.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Britt Johnson in for Maria Shilaos. The state of Utah working to tackle what they say is a growing trend of construction fraud. $32 million in fraud losses over the last 3 years. This week, the State Department of Commerce announced a new task force that will focus on these kinds of fraud, also involving Utah's first full-time prosecutor dedicated exclusively to these cases. Margaret Woolley-Bussey, executive director of the department, joined Inside Sources to explain the purpose of the group.
One of the things that we found is that often prosecutors are not interested in taking on cases, even though we believe they're criminal, because they feel like it's more of a civil matter. So we worked with the legislature this past year to get a criminal prosecutor specifically to focus on construction fraud in the state of Utah that will be housed within the AG's office. So we're going to be focused on policy, if there's things that we can do in statute to beef up what we can do to help deter these kinds of actors. We're also focusing on enforcement in what we need to enforce in better ways, more effective ways, again, working with local prosecutors, and then doing a lot of educational outreach to really educate consumers how to protect themselves from these would-be fraudsters.
And we wanted to get the perspective of someone in the industry. How do construction folks feel about this task force? I spoke to Ross Ford with Utah Home Builders Association to find out just how big of an issue construction fraud is here in the state.
I think anytime you have any industry that deals with so much money as construction, it sets itself up for fraud. I think right now, as we have evolved over the years, our building processes they've got increasingly more technical, and we've got a lot more bureaucratic. So it's really hard for people to do things for themselves because they don't understand what they have to do. And I think that sets us up for more fraud. So yeah, I think it's on the rise. I think it's constantly a risk.
And from reports that we've been doing this week, the state kind of makes it seem like this is a pretty dang big problem. Do you agree?
I do. I may see it a little bit different than the state. The reason I see it's a problem is because we've struggled over the last, few decades to get district attorneys and people like that to prosecute it. It's a different section of law that they're not used to working on. And so when we take them a fraud case, it doesn't get it kind of gets pushed down in their priority list. Which is the really good part of this task force, is it comes with a prosecutor that now they can say, look, we're going to go after these people that are a problem, and we have the ability to have somebody that is highly focused on prosecuting the people once we find them.
How would you say that fraud affects the entire construction industry?
Well, I think it's really hard on everybody, because the problem is I would say 98%, 99% of contractors are really good, just hard, honest working people trying to earn a living like everybody else. Like anywhere else, there's a handful of fraudsters, there's a handful of just bad actors that make it seem like everybody is dishonest, and they're not. So the consumer is harmed, but equally the people that are out trying to do a good job and do it right are also harmed because they're seen as potentially fraudsters, and they're not.
How have you seen fraud show up? Do you mainly notice it on individuals, residential projects, or are you seeing it on big commercial things? What have you kind of been noticing?
My personal feeling is we see it more on residential and even more on home improvement kinds of things, because it's people that are less sophisticated. They don't know how to go check on their licenses and make sure that they've got their insurance and all the things. And that's where we hope the Division of Professional Licensing, part of this task force, will be to help get that word out. Here's how you check. Because oftentimes the people committing the fraud, there's all kinds of red flags prior to the actual fraud. If you get into a commercial kind of setting, they're very, very good at checking up on all of those people. If you get into somebody just finishing their basement or having a new driveway put in or building a deck, they're not as skilled at that.
Right. And I mean, we've had a personal experience where we had someone come build a deck and they were saying, oh, we'll be done in this amount of time and it's going to be this amount of money. And things just started getting, they did show up at one point, but it just didn't go the way we had planned and we had to part ways with the person. I mean, is that kind of what you're seeing most often? Or are you seeing people taking money and running?
No, I think the ones that we're really concerned about, and your experience, absolutely, that's a problem, and we have to watch it. And sometimes we see that where it's just people overextend themselves, say, no, I'm going to be able to do this job. Oh, and I can get this one too, and they can't, and they get themselves in trouble. I think the ones that hopefully the task force starts to lean into first are the ones that just take the money, set people up, and they don't do anything that's almost deliberate. It is a criminal enterprise. It's not somebody who made a series of bad decisions, and those are different in my mind.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's good for people to kind of recognize what exactly it is that is considered fraud, or compared to a construction project that just didn't end up working out.
Right. Your deck experience is a great example. It's one that didn't work out, and it costs money, and that's a problem, and we need to solve that problem and tell people they can't do that. But that's different than somebody who just sets you up to say, no, we're going to get this money, here's what we're going to do, and there's no intention of ever doing the work. It's just extract the money and then leave.
Okay. And as far as your knowledge goes, this task force, are they going to be just keep an eye out for licenses, or how would they kind of go about trying to address this issue?
So I think right now the task force is kind of getting itself formed and figuring that out. It's brought a number of people from industry into it. I have actually been invited to sit on it. And a lot of it is to get us in the room fairly frequently and say, what are you seeing? What can we do, and how can we deal with it? So hopefully it's bringing all of the stakeholders that are trying to protect the industry and protect the consumer into the room at the same time and say, okay, where do we need to be? Where can we be the most effective? And then what do we need to do in marketing and stuff? So they're forming what I believe is going to be a really good coalition of people to help get it where it should be.
Ross Ford is with the Utah Home Builders Association, speaking about the new task force the state is creating to combat residential construction fraud. It's 2:30, midday at KSL News Radio. Hello, I'm Britt Johnson, in for Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we're watching this hour. A new lawsuit involving the Frankies and the Hildebrands, a once popular YouTube family now associated with several severe cases of child abuse. We'll get the breakdown. And West Nile virus spreading around the state now. What do you need to know? But first, KSL's top stories.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Mike Dubusky. The suspect in today's shooting at an Army base in Georgia has been identified as Cornelius Radford, a 28-year-old automated logistics sergeant. Authorities say he used a personal handgun, not a military weapon, in the shooting, which sent 5 other soldiers to the hospital. Those victims are in stable condition, the Army says. Brigadier General John Lubis at a press conference in the last hour.
I would also like to thank the brave soldiers who immediately intervened and subdued the shooter. These soldiers, without a doubt, prevented further casualties.
No word yet on a motive for Radford, though Lubis did say the incident played out at his place of work and involved his co-workers. Investigators are now working to determine how Radford was able to obtain a handgun and bring it onto the base, which has restrictions around personal weapons. Radford was also arrested earlier this year for driving under the influence. This is ABC News.
Breaking news. We're hearing that a suspect was taken into custody after exchanging gunfire with authorities in West Jordan this afternoon. West Jordan Sergeant Andrew Hercules says the Utah County Major Crimes Task Force was already investigating a man before the shots were fired.
One officer from that task force was evaluated by medical on scene and released, and the subject involved in the shooting was transported to a local hospital.
Hercules did not clarify whether the suspect was shot in the exchange. New research shows too much screen time may affect kids and teens' heart health. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
Doom scrolling and binge watching means younger generations are sleeping less. Pediatrician Dr. Jonathan Williams at Ogden Clinic says that sleep is essential to growth.
Sleep dysregulation affects hormonal balances and things like insulin resistance, and those can lead to poor heart health down the line.
A study by the Journal of the American Heart Association says it can also lead to high blood pressure, unhealthy cholesterol levels, and more. Dr. Williams says screen time leads to more problems than just bad sleep. It leads to unhealthy day-to-day habits like laziness.
If a child is on screens, they are not outdoors and they're not running around and they're not being a kid.
Williams says limiting screen time is important, and so is making sure the screen time kids do have is productive or active, like FaceTiming relatives or learning something new. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Tens of thousands of people in Utah County have the opportunity to shape the future of 3 new school districts when they vote in their municipal elections next Tuesday. Alpine School District Communications Director Rich Stoll tells Inside Sources there are around 70 candidates running for 21 school board positions.
Go talk to people who are running for school board and find out what they want. Do they want super low taxes and bare bones schools and programs? Or do they want lots of programs, and we know that those come at a cost?
The Alpine School District passed a property tax increase last night, and Stoll says that money will be used to help give the 3 new districts the resources they need when the split takes place in July 2027. Your money at this moment, let's see, the Dow up 81 points, the S&P gained 45 points, the NASDAQ gained 252 points. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking accounts. Here's Ricky Meese.
Well, crews have wrapped up an injury accident in downtown 7th East and 5th South. And for those traveling the Valley freeways, you are good to go. We still have the road closed eastbound 7800 South from the earlier police activity. The investigation continues. This is in West Jordan, eastbound 7800 South at 2200 West. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Britt Johnson, in for Maria Shilaos. She has the day off. New developments today in a case involving some well-known names associated with several instances of child abuse in southern Utah. We're learning that the ex-husband of Ruby Frankie is now suing Frankie's former business partner and therapist, Jody Hildebrandt, alleging that she misrepresented herself as a mental health professional and abused her authority. We're going to come back to that story in just a moment.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This Friday from 10 to 1, the movie show comes to Sound Sleep. But first, take time to learn about a better night's rest. Sound Sleep delivers oral appliance therapy that treats sleep apnea without the use of CPAP machines. They're professionally fit, warranted, and covered by most major medical insurance. End the days of a poor night's sleep. With offices from Clearfield to St. George, Sound Sleep will help. Call Sound Sleep at 801-716-8672 today. When you choose Performance Automotive in Bountiful, you're choosing selection, convenience, and exceptional service. With 3 locations, Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, and Performance Toyota, Performance Automotive is here to serve your needs. Performance Automotive in Bountiful, where excellence comes standard. Start your search at performancebountiful.com.
This is actress Holly Robinson Peete for Eggland's Best. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, make sure you're choosing wholesome ingredients like Eggland's Best Eggs to plus up your nutrition. With more than 6 times the vitamin D and double the omega-3s and vitamin B12 compared to ordinary eggs, Eggland's Best supports a healthy lifestyle. Available in so many delicious varieties, classic, cage-free, and organic. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs. Visit egglandsbest.com to learn more.
Americans may not agree on much, but we agree on Social Security. We all pay in. It ought to be there when we need it. Social Security could face a funding gap in less than a decade, and I don't want to see a pay cut. I'm with AARP in the fight to protect the Social Security we earned.
Pledge to protect Social Security at aarp.org/weearnedit. That's aarp.org/weearnedit. Paid for by AARP.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Britt Johnson in for Maria Shilaos. Before the break, I told you that we're learning that the ex-husband of Ruby Franke is now suing Franke's former business partner and therapist, Jody Hildebrandt. I spoke to KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff about the situation.
Britt, the key to this thing is that Jody Hildebrandt was licensed as a clinical mental health counselor. That is not a professional, but she was portraying herself as a mental health professional. Specifically, she was saying that she was a psychologist.
And what are some of the things that Franke is accusing Hildebrandt of?
So Kevin says Hildebrandt completely separated him from his wife and children. He ordered them to have no contact with them. Says Hildebrandt diagnosed him as being, quote, lustful, narcissistic, manipulative, deceptive, controlling, and selfish, and said that total isolation with only communication with God was going to be the only way for him to overcome those problems. One of the key points of this lawsuit is that diagnosis, because only medical professionals, people who are licensed with doctorate degrees, are allowed to make those kinds of diagnoses.
And what does Kevin claim were some of the consequences from that counsel?
So in the lawsuit, he says one of the many things that he did was lost his job at BYU. He says Hildebrandt told him he wasn't worthy of a temple recommend from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and that he would be a hypocrite to go and renew that recommend. As a result, he missed an appointment to get that recommend renewed. Because the recommend was required for his job at BYU, he was later fired. One of the only times he was allowed to communicate with his wife during the isolation treatment was after he lost that job. He says Hildebrandt told him to write a letter to his wife, Ruby, and tell her about being fired. Kevin claims Hildebrandt then told Ruby to hold on to that letter in case she needed it as evidence in a divorce case.
KSL legal analyst and co-host of Inside Sources, Greg Skordas, also gave his thoughts on this lawsuit.
You're probably wondering why file a lawsuit against a person who's doing probably 30 years, maybe more in prison. And there's some notion, and just sort of reading between the lines here, that Jody Hildebrandt had developed some sort of an estate, had actually earned some money during her practice, malpractice I'll call it, and had developed some sort of an estate. So if she has commissions or royalties from any of her writings or her books or anything like that, if she purchased property in her name or in her business name and there's property to be had, he's going to go after that and get that. She may not have anything. I'm certain that this isn't going to be covered by insurance. I mean, I don't know that she had insurance.
We'll continue to track this story here on KSL News Radio. West Nile virus spreading around Utah. Just last week, we told you how it had most recently been detected in Draper. Now it's showing up in other areas too. I spoke with assistant professor in the Department of Biology and USU Ecology Center, Dr. Nora Sarman, to get more information on this disease and its spread. And we tend to talk about West Nile every summer, so I wanted to know why the virus seems to leave and then come back year after year.
So the West Nile virus is an interesting one because it actually gets transmitted by kind of growing and living in bird populations, and then it moves from the birds to the humans when we have a high level of the virus in bird populations and when there are enough of the mosquitoes that like to bite humans around, or that like to bite both birds and humans around. So it's sort of a very particular situation that we need to put together. And that usually happens in this part of the country in August and September.
And we've heard that there are reports that West Nile virus has been found along the Wasatch Front. Are there a few specific areas that you can pinpoint to kind of know where more of this activity is happening?
Well, I've seen the reports of the mosquito pools that were testing positive were found in Logan City, in Sugar House District, and a few other places. And so usually that means that they're being found in mosquitoes that are sort of living in more urban areas, so in like drain catchment basins. So like think of on the street when there's a grate that's covering a drain hole, and sometimes there's some leaves and debris that gets caught in there and holds the water. And there's a specific kind of mosquito that likes to breed in that type of habitat. And so when I think of, downtown Logan or Sugar House district of Salt Lake City, those are areas that usually have those drains and are probably being filled with water from some irrigation or something like that, because it hasn't rained in a while. And so that's probably what's going on. So it's a Culex pipiens or Culex quincunfasciatus. And my work is actually looking into how common is the Culex quincunfasciatus, which is a mosquito that is even better at transmitting the virus and is more likely to bite humans.
And is that kind of unusual? Because when I think of where mosquitoes are, I think of marshy areas, but we're talking downtown areas.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that there are so many different kinds of mosquitoes. And in this area, I don't know, there's maybe 5 or 6 really common mosquitoes. And they all go through their different life cycles at different rates and different times, and they go through winter in different ways. And so they have these little booms and busts that just align so that sometimes we see the virus getting to high levels in birds and then transmitted to mosquitoes. But there's probably still a lot of mosquitoes out in the marshes too, but they're a different kind of mosquito. And usually those types of mosquitoes don't actually bite birds that are infected with West Nile, so they're less dangerous to us.
So when we're talking about mosquitoes that do carry West Nile, what are some of the characteristics? Are they more aggressive? Do they kind of go after humans?
They actually don't prefer him, or at least, the work that we've seen, the studies we've done and what we can tell is they don't really prefer humans, but they do bite humans. So we just did a study with the Salt Lake City Mosquito Abatement District where we took a bunch of blood-fed mosquitoes. So we took a bunch of mosquitoes that we caught that actually had blood inside of them. And then we used sequencing to identify what they had eaten. And we found that out of I think it was around 200 that we were able to identify, there were 7 humans. The rest were mostly birds. So it takes a mosquito that likes to bite both the kinds of birds that get West Nile virus and sometimes bite humans to transmit the virus. So those are the ones that are really dangerous to us. If they exclusively eat humans, they won't get the virus.
And do you find that typical bug spray is strong enough to fight against West Nile virus carrying mosquitoes?
Yes, I think it works really well. There's a little bit of evidence that some mosquitoes are becoming kind of more tolerant to bug sprays, like DEET containing bug sprays, but not these mosquitoes. These mosquitoes are going to very rarely encounter it because mostly they're just hanging out in the trees, biting birds, living in the drains. They don't really have a really strong response to what humans are doing since their life cycle doesn't depend on us.
So if we do bug spray and we kind of just make sure that if there's a mosquito around, we kind of move from that area, do you think that most people can avoid West Nile virus?
Yes, I definitely think that is the case. So cover up as much as possible. And if you are going to be exposing your skin, use a little bit of DEET and make sure that you're especially covered up in the evening hours and you should be safe.
Dr. Nora Sarman studies disease-carrying mosquitoes at Utah State University. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. moving to stop funding research into mRNA vaccines. You probably remember hearing a lot about this vaccine during the pandemic. Many of the COVID vaccinations were mRNA. And ABC News chief medical correspondent Dr. Tara Narula spoke to Good Morning America about these kinds of vaccines and what a pause on development could mean for the future of vaccine research.
RFK announced yesterday that after reviewing the science and talking to experts and reviewing investments, they will, as you mentioned, be halting 22 projects worth $500 million in mRNA vaccine development. No more mRNA vaccines will be developed. Now, we know these vaccines came into existence essentially in 2020 during COVID. They work differently from traditional vaccines. So traditional vaccines use either a killed or inactivated or weakened form of a virus. The mRNA essentially takes a DNA or RNA, so genetic material, gives it to you, and you make a protein that then is part of the virus. So when you see the virus, you're able to attack it. The mRNA viruses can be produced very quickly and rapidly, which is why they were so helpful in the setting of a pandemic. And this is part of what public health experts worry about. They say, look, mRNA vaccines are safe. They can be produced rapidly. They have saved millions of lives. And we are using them to do research on things like HIV and cancer and RSV and CMV and all kinds of other viruses, even the flu virus. So that this is going to leave us very vulnerable. This is potentially a dangerous decision, according to many health experts. RFK, on the other hand, saying that they are going to be investing in what they think are safer and broader types of vaccine platforms, whole vaccines, which is essentially what we've been using in the past.
Dr. Narula says there shouldn't be any major changes to vaccines for this year's cold and flu season. Midday continues in just a few minutes, but first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America's MyStyle checking accounts. Ricky?
Good news for drivers in West Jordan. Eastbound 7800 South is open once again at 2200 West. And if you happen to be traveling any of the Valley freeways right now, seeing some quiet drives, traffic only starting to build a little bit southbound I-15, Murray and Midvale. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Visit the contest page on KSLNewsRadio.com. This week, you can win a pair of tickets to Lagoon. Lagoon, it's what fun is. Or win free tickets to an upcoming Real Salt Lake home match. While you're there, nominate a teacher to be featured on the KSL Teacher Tribute Wall. Presented by Cypress Credit Union. What are you waiting for? Enter now. Text the word contest to 57500 or go to KSLNewsRadio.com/contests.
I am not a rich woman, but I feel like a rich woman every time I go in my closet. The best, hands down, present I've ever received was my husband secretly redid my closet with Closets by Design. So now when I go in there aren't all these shoes just junked on the floor. They're neatly sitting on their shelves. And my necklaces are hanging on their individual hooks, and earrings are in their little squares in this soft drawer that pulls out. It's just gorgeous. In fact, he saw how much I loved it. He had Closets by Design redo the garage. So now all the stuff, the tools, the toys, the junk is all in cabinets. When you open our garage door, you see cars. That's it. It's amazing. The things that Closets by Design can do, and it's going to save you money right now because you get up to 40% off plus an additional 15% off with 18-month financing. You can do so much with your closet, much more than you realize, with this wonderful Utah company, Closets by Design. Find out more at 1-800-BY-DESIGN or closetsbydesign.com.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. For years now, I've been telling you about Connecticut soft water systems that use 2/3 less salt than the others. But I've never told you exactly how they do that. Well, there are several ways, so consider this as part one in a series. Most of the softeners out there use a finicky, hard-to-adjust computer to guesstimate when to cycle, and it errs on the side of cycling too often, which means it'll burn through way too much salt way too soon. Connecticut is different. It has an all-mechanical system that measures the water precisely. No computer, no guesstimating, so it cycles only when needed. The result? Connecticut delivers perfectly soft water 24/7 using minimal salt. So why not save your lower back from carrying the 3 bags of salt when all you need is 1? Call Northern Utah's authorized Connecticut dealer, Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake. Call them now, 801-576-8600, or log on to softwaterutah.com and tell them Doug sent you.
This is Midday. I'm Britt Johnson. It's been almost 2 weeks since a fire destroyed an apartment complex in Mill Creek. Since that day, a local organization has been trying to find the cats that went missing during the fire. Earlier on Midday, I spoke with Jessica Vigos, Executive Director and founder of Whiskers.
We have been on site since the day after the fire. We have been trapping, setting up cameras. We had drones on site, doing everything we can. Also set up food and water stations. So doing everything we can to recover these kitties.
Have you been able to reunite some with their owners?
Yes, we've actually. So there was one kitty reunited with his owner the night of the fire by the fire department. And so that was the first cat. And then we have been able to reunite 6 additional cats with their owners.
And what's that been like? What are the emotions?
Incredible. It is incredible to be able to, give these people back something when they lost everything that they care so dearly about. Most of them were not worried about anything that they lost. They were worried about their cats.
And are there still missing pets that you're hoping to continue to find?
Yeah, there was a total of 14 cats missing from the fire. So there are still about, roughly eight cats still missing. We did get one of the 8 that we were looking for just a couple days ago. We did the reunification this morning. And basically, 6 of the units were very badly destroyed. And so we're hoping that those cats got out, but we are moving forward with a plan of monitoring a food station, feed and water station now, and removing some of the traps to see if any of those cats that got out will make their way back now that things have quieted down. And so we are not giving up hope, not yet, but we're also realistic in knowing that of those 6 cats that potentially some of them might not have made it out.
Oh, well, we sure hope that they're able to continue finding and reuniting those pets with their families. That was Jessica Vigos, Executive Director and founder of Whiskers. A lot of folks, including myself, are not a huge fan of needles, medication needles specifically. And while some vaccines are available as nasal sprays, a lot of them still require a good old-fashioned shot. But a new form of vaccination may be coming through dental floss. Brad Milkey has more on this episode of Start Here.
I've never met anyone who likes getting jabbed with a needle.
Small poke, okay?
Like, you do it because you need your blood drawn or you need a vaccination, but you wish there was a better way. In fact, enough people avoid needles that for years doctors have been crying out for other methods to administer medications. Well, recently researchers have suggested a new one: dental floss. In a study out of Texas Tech, researchers noted that most viruses don't enter your body directly through your bloodstream. They often come in through what are called mucosal surfaces, the soft, moist tissue in your lungs, your throat, and your gums. In fact, the tissue in your gums is a perfect entry point for viruses like influenza and COVID. Scientists found that when they injected mice with vaccines, antibodies would pop up in their bloodstreams. That's great. But when they rubbed the vaccine on unwaxed dental floss and then flossed the mice's tiny teeth, that's so cute to think about, those antibodies would show up in their blood and in their gums. They could now combat viruses on a new battlefield. So, would this work on humans? Well, they gave a bunch of volunteers floss picks with food dye on it. About 60% of the dye wound up in the gum pockets it would need to enter the bloodstream. But even that, they said, would work as well as a nasal spray, and perhaps even better than something administered under the tongue. Now, this is not yet ready for human clinical trials. The researchers admitted there are still unknowns, like how would you keep the dosage consistent? What do you do for people without teeth, young and old? But perhaps the bigger concern should be, sure, people hate needles, but they also hate flossing. An NIH study a few years back showed only 32% of Americans floss every day like they're supposed to. Of course, a vaccine needs to be administered much less frequently to be effective, meaning a key to your health, more than ever, could rest between your teeth.
That was Brad Milkey on the ABC Start Here podcast. Jeff, would you choose flossing or a needle?
Well, there's a question here. He mentioned the floss pick. Is that different from using the string that you wrap around your finger?
I think so.
It's like a little toothpick thing that you jab in.
You might as well just be giving yourself a shot. Is that what you're saying?
Right. I would do it if it was the stuff you wrap around your finger, but that's my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't like needles, like I said at the beginning of the package. So I'm pretty darn good. I'm part of that 32% that does floss. So I would choose flossing.
Aren't you a good girl?
What can I say? But I think having the option is what would be nice.
Yeah, if you choose to get the shot.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio,
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.